Welcome into No Punt Intended, presented by Club Fantasy. I am your host, Joe Zolo. We have finished our Stars of Tomorrow series, and now we are officially on to our now second annual NFL mock draft. We have a slew of guests that joined us just as we had last year. Some returners, but a lot of new faces. We are incredibly excited to break everything down just about 24 hours away from the first official pick of the NFL draft. I don't want to waste any more time. Let's get into it. Welcome into No Punt Intended, presented by Club Fantasy. I am your host, Joe Zolo. Joining me, as always, in the upper left-hand corner, Joshua Hudson. In the bottom right-hand corner, joining me as the other basement boy, Ryan Weiss. And I will now run through... Well, first off, I'm sorry. Gentlemen, how are you two? Because I always start the show off by asking that, even though I don't care.
Look at this group. How could we not be great right now?
Know.
Like, this is fantastic. I love
and
all
now
of this.
Albert's here. Oh, electric. Okay,
I'm just excited for all these people to get to hang with me tonight, so it's going to be a good show.
I'm going to introduce everybody here. I'm going to start on the top row, left to right, and move to the bottom. We'll start with Britt Flynn. Britt, how are you?
I'm good. How's it going?
It is amazing. Britt is with Fantasy Alarm, Fighting Chance Fantasy, and Lightning Round Fantasy. To Britt's right, the one and only Rachel Ray, Gordon Ramsay himself, Luke Sawhook. Luke, how are you?
I'm great. Why'd you go to Rachel Ray, Tom?
I don't know. I want to give equal.
Yeah, I'm a nacho hero. I should have made
something extraordinaire.
Yeah. Thankful to be back. I made all the best picks in the draft, so should be fun.
Obviously, yeah. Spoiler: He traded up heavy for Malik Willis, and we'll get to that point.
Dude,
if you haven't, Luke, the cat is out of the bag.
We don't know which team he's representing.
That's true. This is true. Yeah, nobody knows. I mean, they might be black and yellow. They might not be. Who knows?
Yeah.
To Luke's right, one and only Nate Markham, who is repping his top 5. It's too small for me to read at this point, but Nate is flexing on the whole stream right now. He claims he can't take it off. So.
I'm too old. I don't know this technology. And now I have a whole year to try to either build up credentials to compete with Rachel Ray and Gordon Ramsay hybrid. So I'm going to have to find something equally as
now, see,
awesome.
You're already the standard, Nate. It's when someone's good at IDP, we're going to be like, damn, we got Nate Markham on the thing today. They're you.
Yes.
So.
It doesn't say top 1. There's people ahead.
That's true. But I mean, it also says top 5, but you're not either 2 through 5. So we know you're number 1. Moving down to the second row, all the way over to the left, everyone's favorite Oklahoma State cowgirl, Linda. How are you?
I never know what anybody's going to say after everyone's favorite. Like, that's a scary lead-in.
I didn't know where I wanted to go with it. I just landed on the Oklahoma State cowgirl.
I appreciate that. I think that was probably the best landing spot. And I'm doing well. I'm glad to be back.
Oh, we love Linda. And for the first time on any of our shows, Austin Amendolia, I believe is how the last name was pronounced. Yes? Oh, nailed it. Let's go. Austin, how are you?
I'm great. You got it on the first try. That's the most important part.
Patriots fan, so I kind of just took Amendola and took a wild guess at the rest of it and just kind of pieced it all together.
It's the easiest way to get football fans to say my last name.
Oh, perfect. We love it. Kevin, I don't know who let Joe pee on the show, but all I know is that Joe is here. For reference, everyone...
I haven't even talked yet.
Yeah, just for reference, everyone, Joe told me the correct pronunciation of his last name, and I told him, I don't care, I will say pee. I don't care, I am immature. I am a 12-year-old in a 23-year-old's body. I am going to say pee. Joe, how are you?
Hey, what's up, man? I mean, it's not like I haven't heard that before, so we're good.
Yeah.
How was high school for you, real quick?
Oh, man. Imagine being 5'3" and saying that.
Let's have a therapy session.
Let's open the floor. Why don't we?
Let's all talk about our past trauma.
Yeah. And for the last person
That's
to
a
talk
whole other
about
show, guys.
yeah, for the last person to talk about his past trauma, Joel Worth. Joe, how are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Oh, great. It's fantastic.
Canton, Ohio boy, he has plenty of trauma.
I've only been here for a year, so it's not that bad.
Okay.
That's enough.
That's enough. All right. This is going to be a good one. So, I have
Wait,
to
I
handle
just
all the
realized
chaos.
someone added my in my name for me. Who did that?
I got you, big dog.
Oh, okay. Before the show started, my name was just Luke, but he added my ad for me. How kind of you.
Yeah.
Joe, just put Nacho King in there. Come on.
Right.
Dude, say less. I'll do it right now. Say less. Okay. All right. We're going to go picks 1 through 32. We were each assigned, Josh, I believe either 1 to 2 teams. Did anyone have 3 this year?
All of us had 3. 2 of us had 4.
Okay. I was the only one that had 2.
And one of us traded for
No, you had 3, Joe.
I did. Sorry, I had the Lions. Yeah, you're right. My bad. Sorry. Apologies. Okay, I'll kick it off. I was the 101. I get to pick for the worst team in the world. And apparently
for
they're
the
not going to
second
take
year
this
in a
guy.
row.
For the second year in a row. Big fan of picking for the Jaguars. This one's not as sure of a bet because the Vegas odds decided to take a full flip, which if you follow Britt, I think Britt talked a little bit about that. Aiden Hutchinson I have going to the Jaguars. I don't know much about college football, but I do know Aiden Hutchinson's an absolute beast. I believe he's the most pro-ready, and Jacksonville just needs help in every single area imaginable. So might as well start on the defensive line, put some pressure on, I don't know, Matt Ryan. That quarterbacks in their division aren't really great, so that doesn't really help my case here for putting pressure on good quarterbacks. That's Davis Mills, Ryan Tannehill, and Matt Ryan, the electric trio that makes up the AFC South. Look out. But I do think Aiden Hutchinson is the most pro-ready, and that is why I have him at the 101. At the 102, the Detroit Lions. And that pick will be made by Nate Markham. Nate, who did you take at the 102 for the Detroit Lions?
In similar fashion with Aiden Hutchinson is that you pretty much look at Detroit and they need help. I don't want to say across the board, but it's kind of across the board. Defensive line has been a struggle for him lately. Kvon Thibodeau, I feel, is the best bet. I know Walker's starting to make a little bit of noise recently, but if you look at like college win rates as a whole, Thibodeau's never not been successful. And opposite Charles Harris, Thibodeau seems like an easy kind of just immediate day one starter and impact.
How do you feel when we did a show earlier with our Stars of Tomorrow? I saw that Kvon Thibodeau was compared to an F-15 with T-Rex arms, and I just want to get your thoughts on that incredible analysis from The Ringer.
The discussion of arm length is something to consider. Now, that being said, he does have a full inch more on Aiden Hutchinson, which might have been a knock, but everybody wants to start using, at least with Aiden Hutchinson, the comparatives were Joey Bosa, Trey Hendrickson, which are 2 awesome comparisons. As long as you have heavy hands and with his speed, I'm not as concerned, but you got to find something to nitpick with. But I love the compare. I love the analogy. Let's put it that way. And I hope he fails simply so they can say, see, we told you so, but I don't.
It's getting the feeling that the first 2 guys, maybe even 3, potentially with the Texans, might be on the defensive line, but I will let Ryan Weiss, who is the GM of the Texans, who is honestly, all 10 people here would be a better GM of the Texans than their current situation, so we can all put that on our resume. Ryan, who do you have going to the Texans at 3?
So, just like the Jaguars, and probably worse than the Jaguars, the Texans have holes everywhere, like every single spot of this team. I'm happy with the way the draft played out, and I know I am a part of the Evan Neal 101 train, which is also the let's get Britt paid train because she found a book to give her plus 3,000 on Evan Neal 101, which is exactly what you should be betting. But since the Texans have holes everywhere, and since you have a moderately decent quarterback, I think you got to protect that. You're not 1 year away. You're many years away. So you need a guy who's going to play for the next 10 years. And that's Evan Neal. He's going to be able to play any spot of the offensive line. You can plug him right in at tackle. I think he's going to be a great fit for the team, and hopefully someone who's going to be there when they can be successful again in 3 to 5 years when they have all new personnel.
So, Britt, when Evan Neal goes at 101, you're taking us all out for dinner at Canton when you cash in that big ticket. Is that it?
Yeah, well, I'm going to Summer Camp Festival in about a month, so
There you
I'm
go.
sure that I'll spend it on a bunch of wook shit. But if I have any left over, then yeah, we'll go get drinks, man.
Light it up. Britt,
Love to hear it.
outside of anything Ryan said, you obviously placed the bet because it's plus 3,000, and the dude not too long ago was projected number 1 overall. Do you believe come tomorrow, probably almost exactly 24 hours, that he is actually drafted first overall, or is that wishful thinking at plus 3,000?
Man, I still think that he can be. Doug Peterson really loves his offensive linemen. He loves being able to develop his quarterback without pressure, and he was even on record saying that, quote, you can never have enough or too many offensive linemen. So he's basically come out and said, like, that's still a consideration. So, I'll throw a few bucks on it. If it happens, it happens. And, then I'll get to do my victory laps everywhere. But if it doesn't, it's not going to be a big surprise because there's not really a clear cut overall number 1 like there has been in years past. So,
yeah. Cool.
If he goes 101, I'll be sending a angry letter and a bill to New York lawmakers who won't let me bet on the draft. So.
It's so ridiculous. We can do it in the Bible Belt, but you can't do it in New York. What is that?
And I can bet on anything else. I can bet on rat fights. Come on.
Rat fights?
Rat fights. That's news. It definitely feels like a New York thing. Definitely feels like a New York thing. So. Real quick, just 3 picks in, already off the rails. Faith says, "Ask PP, every inch counts."
Oh my Lord.
Let's move along.
Are we sure? Because
I feel like there's context that needs to be shared.
Yeah, you gotta pick that up.
PG related.
zero context here. And then Nate Markham in the backstage chat says, "White boys have short arms." Just saying. So.
Well, I also mentioned too that every comp that Nate threw out there was like Nick Bosa. What was it? Was it Joey Bosa too? You said?
Trey Hendrickson.
Oh, sorry, Trey Hendrickson. I've heard that he likes to play like T.J. Watt. So basically, just all white people.
Well, that's the NFL in general. Every white wide receiver is Julian Edelman and Wes Welker. So.
Yeah, previous
So
Edelman, they were Wes Welker. Yeah. I mean, Hunter Renfrow that's all. His 2 comps were Julian Edelman, Wes Welker.
And now he's
exactly.
the new torchbearer.
Well,
And now he will now be the comparison for everybody. So for those that don't know, I think maybe Britt might be the only person, maybe Linda. My younger brother watches the show every single week, and he has continually been asking since probably midway through last season, when the 49ers backfield was a slew of a mess, when is it going to be Jeff Wilson season? So every day he chimes in and says something about Jeff Wilson, so he'd personally draft Jeff Wilson at the 101. Linda, I'm going to throw this one to you. Are you drafting Jeff Wilson this year in fantasy football?
Probably not.
See, that's a dagger.
Sorry, Joe's little brother.
I like making
was to hear positive things.
Jeff Wilson. The moment Jeff Wilson has a good week, it's chaos on the show.
Okay, but let me just say, an Oklahoma State running back went there that's going to be like a really late round guy or an undrafted guy for the 49ers. And if he goes there, it's over. Like, that's who I'm going to take late. So it's not really Jeff Wilson's fault so much as it is my penchant for homerism.
I love it.
That's fair. Okay. All right. Pick number 4 goes to the Nacho King, Luke Sawhook. Luke, you are the New York Jets general manager. Who are you taking at the 4th pick?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of choices here. There's a lot of really good players on the board here. I think the Jets find themselves in a really unique spot. I think the draft can trickle down a lot of ways that could go in the Jets' favor. For this one, I mean, I went with the DB route for sure. I was between Sauce Gardner or Kyle Hamilton. And I personally love both players. I really do. I think Sauce Gardner has really high potential, but I think that Kyle Hamilton's a safer pick. I think that he's a really polished prospect, and I think that he can immediately contribute in a big role for the New York Jets in their secondary. I think he can do a lot of things on the field. So pick for me is Kyle Hamilton at 4, and I think it should go that way. But I think it's a really good possibility that Kyle Hamilton falls decently further down, like out of the top 5. And I do not think that he should come draft night, but I think he will.
Wow.
Yeah, he'll fall, which unfortunately is as a result of the his 40 time, which is ridiculous because if you watch his tape, his reaction time supersedes 40 time, if you ask me. And from the Chiefs standpoint, I know safety's not the paramount concern signing Justin Reed. If we could trade up and take Hamilton in a heartbeat, I would love it. Yeah. But I think that hopefully someone's as smart as you are, Luke, and they take him earlier than 13, 14.
Well, I was going to say, and that's where
please don't encourage him.
Guys, listen, look at this.
This is my first time. Like, I have to be nice to everybody at first.
No, it's okay. No, Nate, keep going. Please.
And then,
great.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, that's what the concern is with Hamilton falling, is he's going to fall to a team that it's like a luxury for them to add him, and he's going to fall to a good team in the teens, whereas he's such a good player. These teams in the top 10 should be taking him, but they're just not going to look at that as a foundational build. So
what you guys are both saying is that I'm smarter than every NFL GM.
In the top 10?
That's like the bar's on the floor, bro. Have you met NFL GMs?
Facts.
I actually have not.
I would
say no.
Wave that on a banner.
Have you seen the Jets record for the past several decades?
Yo, Troy's in the chat. Joe, put Troy's comment on the screen.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Right now.
The eyeball.
That's his face when he looks at your creations on Twitter.
Yo, Troy, how drunk are you going to be for tomorrow for Thursday NFL Draft Round 1? This man's going to ascend from Earth tomorrow.
Who's Troy's team again?
The Dolphins.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, so Troy's been living on cloud 9 for about a month now.
Yeah, I'm pretty over it.
Yeah, I'm pretty over it. I love it. I mean, to Luke's point, Kyle Hamilton is probably their pick at that point, unless they want to trade back for more picks, because they lost Marcus May, who was a fantastic safety for them. He went and signed with the New Orleans Saints, so their 2 safeties currently, Ashton Davis, who was a 3rd-round pick in 2020, and Jordan Whitehead. And if you know anything about the Tampa Bay secondary, it's awful, and that's where he came from. So, really, they got LaMarcus Joyner out of retirement. That's good. He might play for 3 snaps before he inevitably gets injured again. The Jets need help.
I honestly think the pick is going to be Sauce Gardner at 4, but I don't think it should. I think it should be Kyle Hamilton. And that's why I want.
And either way, they have Bryce Hall, DJ Reed, and Michael Carter as their 3 defensive backs. So either way, the defensive backfield is probably the way that the Jets are going to go. All right, on to pick number 5, going to the other side of the stadium in New York, the Giants. Britt, you are the GM, and we all know Britt is a much better GM than the current one they have. Britt, who's your pick for the Giants?
Thank God that I'm a better GM than what's going on right now. Being a Cowboys fan, I was like, I have to pick for the Giants. What is this? But so I think the
I did
Giants.
that on purpose, Britt.
I knew that you did. I appreciate that. But the Giants really have their 2 biggest glaring needs are defensive end and offensive line. They got Azeez Ojulari last season with Aiden Hutchinson and Kvon Thibodeau off the board. I'm going with Ike Ekwonu. They really need to shore up that run blocking game. They ranked 30th in the league, their offensive line in 2021. Saquon Barkley is coming off of back-to-back seasons with season-ending really severe injuries, and they're trying to avoid a 3rd season with a season-ending injury with this pick. So Ike Ekwonu had the most big-time blocks in the run blocking assignments. He led the Power 5, and it wasn't even close. And I'm not saying that in an ironic sense, like everybody on Twitter uses, it wasn't even close. No, he had 7 more big-time blocks than the next lineman. Ike's father was a college football star. His mom ran track. Like, this guy is from a family of athletes. And how can you not like a guy who played Pongo in 101 Dalmatians? Boom. I mean, Ike just has it all around, and he's going to do great with the Giants.
Pause. He played Pongo?
Yeah, in his 5th grade play, he was Pongo. And he's a tenor. He is perfect.
Oh, deep in there, hitting Linda in the feels right now.
He is perfect.
What I'm
So-
gathering from this pick is that Dave Gettleman may be gone, but the hog mollies live on forever.
Oh,
Love
yeah.
hog mollies, dude.
For those unaware of his measurables, he is 6'4", 310 pounds, and runs a 4.9340. That is his mother's speed. On the lower half of his body. That is a big man running extremely fast. So Britt, I will start with you and I'll let anyone chime in on this thought. If Icky goes there, how do you feel about Saquon Barkley? Does it push him up in your opinion, or do you kind of have him staying stagnant? I can't imagine it would put him lower. So is he kind of staying roughly where it is, or would he be higher? In your opinion, like, would you start maybe targeting him earlier in drafts than would currently where the Giants situation is now?
No, I think he stays the same because until you address the quarterback situation and the wide receiver situation in New York, like defenses are just going to attack the pass game and stack the box. And I mean, it's going to be an easy read and he's going to be about the same. I think the main thing with getting Icky is just preventing another injury and preventing Saquon from taking so much contact.
Okay. Anybody have any thoughts on Saquon if they add an offensive lineman to him?
I mean, they still need 4 more.
Yeah.
So,
And a quarterback. Like,
I mean,
I didn't know if anyone had any strong feelings on Saquon because my feelings are stay as far away as you possibly can.
Oh my God. I just had a realization. I was going to make a joke about his quads. This was the show last year when I started joking about quads.
The quad squad, yes.
The quad squad, yeah. He has big
How do you
quads.
remember that? I don't.
It just came back to me as soon as I was about to talk about it. I was like, this happened last year too. I was talking about
Linda,
Najee.
Luke is new to drinking. This is why he
Oh, yeah.
can't remember
I'm forgetting
things.
so
I'm
much.
not drinking right now.
Luke, are you?
I
are you
know, but
21
I
now?
was last year. That's why I don't remember it.
Okay, that's true. That's fair.
Luke, are
I
you
do wanna-
21 now?
I don't want to turn off my camera. Yeah, I am. I turned 21 in February.
Oh, what a guy.
I think the biggest concern with Saquon, other than the injuries that everyone wants to point to, is how much his passing game work diminished from rookie year on. He was such a value that rookie year because of how much they threw the ball to him, and it just doesn't happen enough for me anymore to where everyone's like, are we ever going to get peak Saquon again? No. Like, running backs don't get better as they get older, and unless his usage changes drastically, there's no reason to think a Buffalo-esque offense is going to all of a sudden start throwing to their running backs more. So I'm fully off board with Saquon as well, unless the draft capital falls very low.
Just real quick though, I mean Saquon's price. I mean I don't remember exactly what it is off the top of my head. I don't keep trade cut, but he's outside the top 12 dynasty running backs, and I think that is way too cheap, personally.
For what, a 26-year-old injury-prone running back who doesn't catch the ball? I'm okay
Correct.
with it.
Because he is
No
an
offensive line.
extremely talented player.
God
Like
damn,
Will Fuller.
Ryan.
Guys, listen, it's Will Fuller, but with running back. Not really. Not even
Oh,
close.
God.
But I just wanted to bring up Will Fuller because it's funny. But no, he's a dog when he's healthy, and I like that at his price. So
That's the kicker, though. Win.
yeah.
don't you dare get in the Will Fuller zone with me. When is he on the field? I'm just kidding.
Look, when drugs become legal, Will Fuller will be a top 10
So
fantasy
good.
wide receiver. Yeah.
Okay, I actually am curious to like how much his PEDs affected him because he claimed, I mean, obviously it's probably not what happened, but he claimed it was for something with like fertility drugs he was taking.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
but like I don't
That's
know.
why-
But, like,
Yeah,
why he's
because if you
played-
take so many PEDs, then you need fertility drugs. That's just how it works.
Or he was in such a good mood from getting some so often, and
You would think that would land him on the field. I mean, you wouldn't like need drugs. You got like the. Can we not talk about
natural
his
endorphins
sex life?
going at that.
I
wasn't
would
that Golden
appreciate that.
Tate? Wasn't that Golden Tate who got
Yes.
blasted for the same thing?
Yes.
So, yeah.
But Golden Tate's good. So that's
by Will
that's the
Fuller,
difference.
he's dynasty wide receiver 77. Go buy him right now. Go do it.
That's fair.
Yeah. For a 2024 5th-round pick, you can definitely afford Will Fuller. For
If
that.
I could get
Fifth
Saquon
round.
Barkley as the running back 77, that would work for me.
I think he's like RB 15 if I can remember. I don't know, but it's still too low.
62 too high.
Saquon's RB 15. Jeez.
I think so. He's
I
gone
think,
down a
Michael,
lot.
I think Michael Carter finishes higher than that. That's tough.
I hate
Okay.
Michael Carter. Moving on.
All
Oh,
right.
my God.
Josh, Panthers are on the clock. I'm going to fly through these next ones so we can actually start talking about the fun ones. So, Josh, elevator pitch. Who'd you take for the Panthers at the 6th pick?
Well, I offered a trade to Luke to see if he wanted to come up and get his guy Malik Willis, but he kind of balked on that one. So
I
figure at
consulted
this
some other
point-
general managers, and I was informed that he wasn't going.
Oh, that's fine. Whatever. No, at this point, Panther they've neglected the offensive line too long. They still don't have a quarterback, but I don't see a quarterback really worth being a top 10 pick this year. So, and they've spent too much draft capital on quarterbacks as is. Find a way to protect the ones that you got. Get Charles Cross in there. He's one of the best offensive tackles in this class, and clearly there's already been a run with two of them going in the since pick 3. Get the best of the rest. So,
Yeah,
Okay.
Josh, you did what I hope the Panthers do. As a person who now lives in North Carolina, I have started flirting with the Carolina Panthers, but their quarterback drama just pushes me away every time. And I'm anticipating them going after Kenny Pickett, and it's going to push me away again. So I would love to see them take your advice, but I don't think that's where it's going to end up.
Don't you know, Austin, we're all smarter than NFL GMs.
Yeah.
This is why we're all here right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Austin, nobody's flirted with Sam Darnold since high school, so we fully understand.
That's not true. He got mono.
Oh, that's true. He did get mono. Facts. My bad. Yeah.
I want to ask a quick question. I know we don't want to stick with the Panthers for too long, and Joel, you haven't talked yet, so I'll ask this question to you. The big rumor with the Panthers is Matt Rule is fighting for his job, this, that, and the other. But Matt Rule's not the only person making the decision on this draft. So do we really think they'll skip a quarterback to help Matt Rule keep his job?
They talk about Kenny Pickett being the pick because he's the most ready. I think Kenny Pickett's the coach killer in this class because he's not ready. He's not good. I mean, they'd be replacing Sam Darnold with lesser Sam Darnold. He's got smaller hands than Sam
That is
Darnold.
offensive.
Boo!
That is offensive.
Boo
That's
this man.
Boo this man.
Look, I mean, if you look,
Here comes the grenade.
everything he does is max effort at Pitt. That's not going to fly in the NFL. So he's the coach killer in this class. If they took Malik Willis, you'd say, hey, we need to wait a year and then we'll have an elite guy.
Okay.
That's actually my thought process too, is why not take Willis? I mean, putting it bluntly, fuck Matt Rule. Like, you get the quarterback you want. You get a quarterback who is a lesser Cam Newton, but someone who has led your franchise.
Are you
to
sure
success,
you're just
not
drinking
winning.
water?
I'm sorry.
I'm
I
just an
saw
asshole.
Linda looking off screen, and Brian said "fuck Matt Rule," and Linda immediately goes, "What the hell did you just say?"
Listen, I don't care what you say about Matt Rule, but his wife is my queen because she told him to draft Chuba Hubbard. So
Well, there
say
you
whatever
go.
you want about that man, but she is a gem.
It's just, we've seen GMs and owners make decisions that were not in the coach's best interest, but all of a sudden for the Panthers, we're like, they're not going to take a quarterback. It's not in their coach's best interest. And I just feel like it's a narrative that we've put on ourselves.
All right, hold on. I have a good transition. We're off the Panthers talk. Linda gave me a good transition from Chuba to Pee-Pee.
Ah,
Thank you.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, I mean, that's soft toss baseball right
I
there.
did
Come
not
on.
mean to.
I don't
set
blame
that
him, man.
up.
That would take it.
I apologize.
Joe's also a 76ers fan. I'm a Celtics fan. We already just kind of don't like each other. Joe's a great guy. I just don't like
Well,
him.
don't put me in the middle of it.
No, you're not in the middle of it. You just
Joe's a great guy, but he sucks. Like,
Linda, you were off to the side. You ever like soft toss baseball or softball? You were off to the side. The coach was tossing you the ball, and you would smack it. That was you. You were the coach,
You tossed it.
and you just tossed it. You lobbed
That's
it
like
right up
worse.
there.
It's like I taught you what to do. Like,
yeah,
don't.
thank you.
No.
Yeah. So, Britt, you have officially been fired as the Giants GM, and now Joe, just one pick later, you are the Giants GM.
That's fine. I have no desire to be the Giants GM. Take it
Fantastic,
away.
Joe. Congratulations, you're now the Giants GM. Who are you taking at 7?
Well, first, I want to thank Britt for taking the guy whose name I can never get correct. So thank you. I didn't want to do that, but I am going to take Sauce Gardner because I know that they have issues on the defensive line. But if you could get the best cornerback in the draft, and I believe he is the best, he's only given up 131 yards last year in 14 games, and he has a nickname like Prime Time, like all the good defensive backs have a nickname. And he's got one.
Science.
I think he's not given up a touchdown the entire career. I might be wrong on that. I'm trying to go back in my head on the stats, but that's my guy. I think you're going there because yes, Walker's still on the board, but I'm not sold on Walker. So go get the best player on the other side of the ball because Britt drafted for offense, so I'll go for defense.
Dude, that nickname argument is bulletproof. That's all I'm going to say. That is crazy.
Listen, it's bulletproof. It's, Revis Island. You got prime time. Like, if you got a nickname and you're a cornerback, you're elite.
Exactly. Plus, just ask Sauce. He's the best player in the draft.
Yeah.
Does anyone know where the nickname Sauce came from?
No.
No.
I
People
forget who
just
was
been
tweeting about it earlier. I think it might have been Rappaport. He said that he was asking what his favorite sauce was, and he said Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce.
Oh, great
So,
choice.
That's a pretty good pick.
Great
Yeah, that's a
choice.
great pick.
Yeah.
So he
I don't-
has an elite nickname and an elite taste in barbecue sauce. Can't hate
So-
this dude.
So hold on, real
I just got an
quick.
extension off of him, so we're good.
I love that. Real quick, because I love this topic. This is quick, and I mean quick. Josh, the 101 of sauces, go.
I'm a barbecue sauce guy through and through.
Okay, Britt. You just muted
muted.
yourself. You were unmuted and then you
Sorry,
muted.
my bad. I don't know. I make my own at home.
Ooh, okay.
Damn.
The Britt Flynn sauce. Luke,
Wait, sorry, what was the question? Was the 101 of sauces?
the 101 of sauce.
I'm a Midwestern boy. It's ranch dressing, baby.
Okay. Nate.
Hot and honey, like wing sauce that we make is mine.
Okay.
Good
The Nate
Lord.
Markham
You
sauce.
guys are
Fantastic.
some-
Joel.
Yes, top
Horseradish mustard.
Horseradish mustard. Okay.
What is
Joe.
wrong with some of you people?
Yeah. I'm going to go barbecue as well. I mean,
Okay. All right. Austin.
Billy boys sticking
Born-
together.
What is
born
it,
and raised,
Austin?
born and raised in Georgia. I'm going with ranch.
Okay. Linda.
Gravy? Does gravy count as a
Oh,
sauce?
gravy counts? That's fine.
no,
That's
you-
fine.
don't make the gravy
Hold
sauce
on.
argument.
Hold on. You can go to Whataburger and order gravy as a side sauce.
I
That
thought I
counts.
knew my answer.
That counts.
Dude,
Linda,
when I make gravy, like I eat it with a spoon. Like, it's
Bro, you need to go to
and I,
therapy.
Yes, but not for my
Yes.
sausage
Sauce
biscuits and
choice.
gravy.
We established that years ago when we had her on the show.
Ryan, 101.
Chick-fil-A sauce is so fucking good.
Their
Yeah,
honey
I-
roasted
Oh,
barbecue
102 is
is better,
cane sauce.
honestly.
Okay, we got to move on because I could do sauce for like an
So
hour.
here,
and a
here's
half.
the thing, Linda.
Show's over.
If Ryan didn't say Chick-fil-A, I'm gonna put cane sauce at the 101.
Yes.
Raising Cane's. Raising Cane's is
Love me some
absolute
cane
fire.
sauce.
And anytime I go to Minneapolis, it's the closest Cane's we have. It's a 6-hour drive. I make sure I go out of my way to get Raising Cane's because it is bombs. So Raising Cane's. Austin, to you, my friend. You're the Falcons. You're not going to take a quarterback because Luke's friend Akash is going to put hot sauce in his eyes if you do. So who are you taking?
So I'm taking Trayvon Walker. Part of this, I wanted to take Kyle Hamilton, but obviously he got taken at the 4th pick. I think that, I mean, I wasn't going to trade up for his safety. I think that's the thing with Kyle Hamilton is he's probably a top 5 from an athletic standpoint, but from a positional value standpoint, I think he kind of falls a little bit later in the first round. But Trayvon Walker making it to the 8th pick, this group is sleeping on Trayvon Walker. He can line up anywhere in the front 7. He doesn't get hung up on run plays. He had a sub-7 3-cone at the combine. This dude's an athlete. Throw away the stats. This UGA defense rotated players in and out. So don't just look at the stats and turn away from that. Pay attention to the tape and the performance of the combine. This guy has the potential to be the first overall pick. And so for getting him at pick 8 for my Falcons was just too good to pass up.
I was going to bring up the stats, but you said don't bring them up. So I feel like that's against what you said.
He ordered you.
Yeah. I'll hop right into the next one because I'm realizing there are 3 offensive tackles and now 4 defensive ends taken in the top 10. Linda, who you have going to the Seahawks?
Well, speaking of offensive tackles that have already gone, Josh sniped me on Charles Cross, who I was fully prepared to send to Seattle, who has a awful offensive line, but that didn't work out. So I went Jermaine Johnson. Of course, he transferred from Georgia, where he was kind of a rotational player, to Florida State. He had 70 tackles, 18 for loss, 12 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. Was the AAC defensive player of the year. Had a great combine, had a great senior week. He's just been playing really well, and Seattle needs an edge rusher. So I went kind of the best player available at a position of need for the Seahawks. Also,
Damn.
thanks for Russell Wilson.
That's literally why I gave you this pick, Linda. I wanted to see if you
It
were
feels
gonna burn
good.
Seattle, but you
Somebody
thanked
please
them
make a
because they
gif of
gave
Linda
you Russ.
dancing like that. That was incredible.
Go ahead, Linda. Ready? It's your time. Go. 10
No,
seconds.
I'm not doing. No.
You've made
Don't
her
make
more
me big.
uncomfortable now.
I don't
than she
like
has
being
ever
big.
been on our
Don't make me big. I'm big enough. I'm loud enough. You don't need to put me. It's fine.
Can we all pour
love
one
it.
out for Jeff Driscoll though?
Dump truck Driscoll, dude.
Dump truck.
God
my
damn.
All right. Now, for the first offensive player that anyone actually cares about off the board for fantasy football, Luke, you were fired as the Jets GM, and just 6 picks later, Joel comes in at the 110. Joel, who is the first fantasy football relevant offensive player off the board?
So the Jets need to build something around Zach Wilson. They need to give him a shot. Corey Davis hasn't been able to beat man coverage his entire career. Elijah Moore's a nice player, good player, but he's a hole in the zone kind of player. They need someone who can stretch a defense, beat man coverage. So we're going to give them the fastest guy in the draft by far, Jameson Williams from Alabama. A lot of people will say he was their best prospect, wide receiver prospect before he tore his ACL. He's still the best wide receiver prospect in this class. He's the fastest by far. He would have run probably something in the 4.25, between 4.25 and 4.3. He's got gears after gears after gears. He can accelerate. He can run past people. He's what the Jets don't have anything like him. They need to take this pick here and give Zach Wilson something to work with.
Boom. His player comp is Will Fuller, so Luke loves that.
Yes!
And Joel, do you believe, obviously you're saying like that this is a big need for the Jets. Do you believe Jameson Williams is 100% the best receiver, no doubt? This is not like the best need and also one of the best receivers in the draft for the Jets,
No,
but he is overall the best receiver.
He's the best receiver in this class.
All right.
Definitely
I
the
love that.
fastest.
And I mean, yeah, he, according to Player Profiler, he runs a 4.30, which is in the 100th percentile amongst receivers, just in case anyone was
And I mean,
wondering.
we've seen this before. I mean, look when Henry Ruggs went over Jerry Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb. Like, speed kills. That's what these NFL GMs are going for. So it wouldn't shock me one bit to see Jameson Williams as the first wide receiver off the board.
Good comp.
That
I'm sure his
speed
mom
kill
loves that.
pun. Was that speed kill pun intentional?
Yeah.
I mean, the show is called No Punt Intended, but I would never actually purposefully make fun of somebody dying in that instance. So,
Yeah, I was
unintentional.
I was treading water on the Henry Ruggs joke and didn't want to make one, so I guess Josh made it for me.
There you go.
So,
But it's not just straight line speed. It's not just I can run fast. It's he can accelerate, he can cut, he can make moves with he can do things with his speed that most of those guys, the Henry Ruggs and John Rosses, could never do.
he's an Alabama wide receiver. They've been pretty good, to say the least, over the last 10 to 15 years. They've been solid. So, yeah, Jameson Williams is your first. And for Nate, Ryan, and myself, I'm not. We all are IDP guys, and Britt as well. The first fantasy relevant person for the general populace, because obviously, as me, Nate, Britt, and Ryan know, some of these defensive ends will play a big part
Yeah, I was gonna say
in IDP.
Kyle Hamilton was quite offended by what you said.
Yeah, Kyle Hamilton may play a giant part. For my first introduction to Kyle Hamilton was his statistics at 6'4", 220 pounds. And I wondered why he was listed as a safety and not a defensive end or a linebacker. So I am very excited for his potential at the next level. But now, to what would have been the Washington Commanders, but
What happened?
there was a trade. Now, we didn't make trades last year because that'd be too difficult. And Luke Sawhick said, fuck you. And he's like, we're going to make trades. So Luke, as the Steelers GM, obviously, Luke being a Steelers fan, he traded the 20th pick in the first round, the 20th pick in the second round in a 2023 second rounder to the Washington Commanders.
First, I believe.
No, it was a second.
It was
Second?
second. It was 2 2s.
2 2s.
Yeah, it was
in the
a
second.
1 and 2 2s.
Okay, thank you. To the Washington Commanders for the 111, where the Commanders currently sit, and a 4th-round pick in 2021. So, Luke, with the Steelers on the clock, to no one's shock, who did you take?
Desmond, no, I'm kidding. Malik Willis, obviously. My sweet, sweet baby boy. He can throw a ball over the mountains like Uncle Rico wished he ever could. He's a dog. He's a demon. Not really. I'm just over exaggerating, but I really do like Malik Willis a lot. I think that he's a great fit in the Pittsburgh culture. I think he can sit behind Trubisky for a year, develop, do whatever he needs to do. I trust the Steelers staff and front office and their ownership to make the right choice. And I think Malik Willis could develop really nicely under the Steelers' supervision. I just love his skill set. After watching that slow-ass Big Ben for the last decade of my fandom, I am ready to see someone who can actually maneuver a pocket and run and get yardage. Malik Willis has a cannon for an arm, and he scrambles like Josh Allen, and I am in love. What can I say? Also, fun fact, I just wanted to throw this out there, as we were talking about Kyle Hamilton and how he's built like a defensive lineman. Somebody at my school, Miami of Ohio, there's a defensive end prospect that'll be like in the 3rd or 4th round probably. That's where he's projected to go. He was a quarterback in high school, came here as a wide receiver, and transitioned to D end. That is batshit crazy. He's going to be a 3rd or 4th round draft pick. Isn't that insane?
That is pure Maction right there.
That is some action.
Pure Maction.
Absolutely. But yes, Malik Willis, I love you so much. Welcome to the Steelers.
I just want to I want to go hands raised here. Obviously, Luke believes that the Steelers are going to trade up. Does anyone believe the Steelers trade up? Because I don't think they trade up. Show of hands, who thinks the Steelers trade up? Luke, you can raise your hand.
I think they could. I won't say that they will. I think in this scenario, if Malik Willis drops out of the top 10, I'd be pretty happy if they did. But I don't want them trading up to like 6. I feel like that'd be too expensive.
Okay.
I think the Saints have more ammo to go up and get him.
Yeah.
I think the Saints would.
I mean, there's definitely teams that have more ammo to go up and get him. It's just whether or not they want to.
They want to.
Mm-hmm. I'm
not moving up for any quarterback in this class. Just like on principle. No thank you.
I'm going to throw another. I totally agree with that in principle, Linda. But Malik is the only guy I'd consider because his ceiling is so high, and I trust the Steelers to develop him. That's the only reason why.
So I'm going to throw the one monkey wrench in here is I don't trust the Steelers to develop any quarterback because they've never developed a quarterback ever.
That's fine.
So I'd like to see it happen. I would like for the Steelers. I feel like they need to get somebody who's more pro ready. And everyone's saying, Willis would be great to sit behind Trubisky for a year. Do you want him learning from Trubisky and a coaching staff that's never developed a quarterback? Like, I'm not picking on you, Luke. It's just, it makes me nervous.
No, I totally understand.
He's going to learn from Mason Rudolph.
I honestly think that Kenny Pickett at 20 and not moving would be the better choice. If Malik Willis goes at like 6,
I would feel way better about that.
I would be very happy if we take Pickett at 20 and don't have to move. I mean, he's from Pittsburgh. He literally practices and played at Heinz Field. He's in the same facility. He knows the coaching staff already. He's very much pro ready, and this team is built to win. Besides the offensive line, which is garbage, but they'll figure it out. But yeah, I like Pickett a lot. And while Willis is a project, but like also to your point, Ryan, is like they haven't had to develop a quarterback,
and that's fair. They've never taken one this high.
They haven't got the chance,
So, yeah. Yep, that's fair.
All right. Well,
they
Ryan,
did wonders teaching Mason Rudolph how to swing a helmet, but
hell yeah, they did.
No, he got hit by the helmet.
Oh yeah, Myles Garrett.
Yeah, no, he just learned how to take the.
Yeah, he learned how to take a punch.
I hate.
Everybody should be able to do that.
Yeah,
I hate Mason Rudolph, but it's okay.
That's what happens.
Hey, you
at
watch
OSU.
your fucking mouth, Luke. All right.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Linda. Linda, I'm sorry. Well, in college, dude, I loved he and James Washington. But
all
Washington's
right.
gone and Rudolph's a bum.
I know he's bad in the NFL, but I loved him for a very important part of my life. So we just have to move on.
No, that's understandable. It's understandable.
Yeah. All right. Well, Ryan, to you, it is the 112. The Minnesota Vikings are up. They have had great success drafting from this school recently.
Yeah.
And they share the same colors. Ryan, who are you taking from LSU for the Vikings?
So outside of linebacker, defense is just a mess in Minnesota right now. They were bottom 5 in passing yards allowed last year. So cornerback's where they're going to go. Derek Stingley is universally the second best corner in this draft, though apparently some teams are starting to grade him ahead of Sauce, which I disagree with completely. Great freshman year, no picks and no complete seasons the next 2 years, but I still think he's a pro-ready corner. He's going to be able to start for them right away. So give me Derek Stingley out of LSU.
You know what's incredible? The Vikings still employ Cameron Dantzler, and that to me shows how bad of an organization they are.
I knew you were going to bring him up.
I mean, you bring up the bottom 5 defense in passing yards allowed. The defense that also gave the Detroit Lions a win last year, so we can add that to their resume too. And
Goff
Cameron
went for
Dantzler,
like 4 bills or whatever in that game, didn't he? Or something ridiculous, I thought.
yes, yes. Cameron Dantzler, the smartest goal line defense ever. Defend the goal line 5 yards in the end zone. Smart. Absolute. He's up here with it. Cameron Dantzler's a bum. They have Pat Peterson, who is very much at the end of his rope. He'll have maybe 2 good games this year. And I will Venmo somebody $5 if they can tell me the slot corner for the Vikings right now.
KJ Osborne?
No. Not KJ Osborne. Other side.
BC Johnson?
I got the slot.
Probably
Luke,
Chandon
put your phone
Sullivan,
down.
isn't it?
It is Chandon Sullivan from the Packers, who, as we all know, have had one of the best secondaries in the NFL over the last
I'll
10
take
years.
$5 still.
I said that, but I was just muted. So
Yeah,
you
I
can go
heard
ahead
it.
and
Yeah,
run me my
totally,
check.
totally.
Their
Totally.
biggest change this year is at linebacker, because now they have between, already hopefully healthy Hendrickson. And then the key there, honestly, between Zadarius Smith and Jordan Hicks, I hope they don't have to rely as much on good coverage in the secondary, which obviously they'll get there. But I think single-handedly they made the most improvements at the linebacking core of any team.
Yep.
And-
Very strong linebacking core.
And if Daniil Hunter is healthy,
There you go. That's
I mean,
a large if. Yeah.
But they're switching to a 4-3, right? So they really have to. They have to do something. They don't have the personnel.
Yeah.
They had to
I
make
mean,
something.
If Daniil Hunter and Zadarius Smith are coming off the edge, that could be one of the most dangerous pass rushing duos in the NFL.
Well, and then Hicks and Kendricks in the middle is just stout.
That's probably the best linebacking duo in the middle in the NFL right now.
I
Eric Kendricks
believe-
is underrated.
They were the only 2 players in the NFL last year to have 100 tackles
Yes.
and I think 3 interceptions. Only 2 players did, and they have them both on the linebacking core. And then Dalvin Tomlinson in the middle is pretty strong. This is not an IDP defense show, so
Listen.
I digress.
That was a great 90-second IDP sesh right there. That was great.
Sorry, everybody.
Josh normally
You
yells
brought a
at Ryan
smile
and
to
I.
Joe's face.
I'd
You
say I'm
really
excited.
did, Nate.
We love IDPs. We love IDPs here. Okay, Austin, back to you for the Houston Texans. Ryan, you were fired as the Texans GM. I'm going to keep making this joke. Austin, you're now the Texans GM. Who you taking?
So Ryan covered the offensive line for me at this pick. And that was kind of one of the fun things about getting matched with somebody else for these teams, is you could kind of base your decision on what someone else did. So I went for the other side of the ball. I took a defensive end with George Karlaftis out of, I believe, Purdue. This guy's quick off the line. He's got active hands, good at creating leverage off of other players. And Houston, they need some foundational pieces. I think they're going to be able to ride with Davis Mills. They don't need a quarterback. And, they've got enough action there at least right now, Ryan. We got to work up to the quarterback later on. I think they are fine at receiver, but I really want to see them build out some of those foundational pieces and take a defensive end. Plus they have a lot of opportunities to pick players later on in this draft. So I think they'll be able to find some value at other positions later on.
Okay.
Would you say that George Karlaftis is sneaky athletic or gritty?
Coach on the field.
That feels like a leading question.
That was the right response. Don't
Common
answer.
tropes among defensive ends, right?
Yeah.
Just leave it at
Well, staying on the defensive line, and
Best
I
pick of the
honestly, I wish I knew more about this guy outside of the fact that he's 6'6", 340 pounds, and runs a 4.78 40.
He's a fucking Avenger. That's all you need to know.
He's ridiculous. So if he falls to the fucking Ravens and they take him, that's just unfair because the Ravens somehow get good defensive players to fall to them. Nate, You took Jordan Davis, the Avenger. I mean, that feels like a steal at 14.
It was going in when I saw I had Baltimore. It felt like the most just fitting. Like I just assumed everybody passed on him because they said, well, he looks like he already is in a Baltimore Ravens. his best comp, hey, Ladainian. His nickname,
I was
Godzilla.
literally just thinking that.
His nickname is Godzilla. And no offense to Luke's comparison about his quarterback turned defensive end edge that has the body. He doesn't have a 6'7", 360-pound body. That's a defensive tackle. That's a monster.
Nate,
So
he
good.
runs a 4.78 40 to add to that frame. Let's just
In a
The
division
dude-
where you have to compete with Joe Mixon, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Najee Harris. Whew.
Exactly right. And Baltimore was already top 3 in run defense last year, and they're going to get even better. And if you read his like, the pros are everything. The pros are just look at him and you go, okay, that makes sense. The cons are he doesn't have good hip bend. Motherfucker, he's 17 feet tall. He's not going to have good hip bend. What do you expect out of him?
Who
You
cares?
might not even know where his
gives a
hip is. You're not looking in
Exactly.
the right
His
spot.
hip is at your forehead. And
Wow.
he'll turn it into you, and you're going to go down.
I can imagine Nate reading the NFL.com analysis on this guy.
Yeah.
And he sees doesn't have good hip bend, and Nate out loud in front of children screams, he's 6'7". Of course he fucking doesn't have good hip bend. That's what
Again,
I'm imagining is how
I went to a school just to have a good audience and was like, gather around, children. Let me tell you the story of
Let me
Jordan
tell you
Davis."
about Jordan Davis.
Exactly. He's fucking 17 feet tall.
to,
Around children.
I'm
to
honestly
add-
very upset that Linda, with the Chargers pick at 17, didn't try to jump up to get Jordan Davis because they need a run stopper bad.
So
Yeah, well, he was on my list in like a hopeful kind of way, but I didn't think it was going to happen. I just want somebody to look at me like Nate looks at Jordan Davis. Pros, look at him. Are you kidding me? I would fucking melt. All right.
So to add on to how good the Davis pick is, great comp to Ladainian. He was one of the most dominant defensive tackles of his time, and obviously one of the better Ravens during that time. They had the combo of Nada and Ray Lewis. They could now have the combo of Queen and Jordan Davis, which I am not comparing the two to Ray Lewis and Ladainian.
I think you
by
just
any
directly
means.
did, actually.
Yeah, directly. That's my bad.
That makes sense.
But he can also learn from Calais Campbell and Derek Wolfe, two fantastic veterans in their own right. Calais Campbell obviously dominating in every spot that he's been, Jacksonville, Arizona, and Baltimore. Derek Wolfe, one of the most consistent defensive ends in both pass rush and run stuffing. He has two great veterans to learn from in their own right. So I think that's really good. And not to mention he's got Odafe Owe, who is ridiculous, their first-round pick from last year. So, yeah. I hate that Baltimore's defense just gets good every year because they also got Marcus Williams from the Saints, and that just angers me. It's incredible that their defense just gets better every year.
Yep.
All right. God. Joe, I hate this pick. Why? Why would you do this to poor Drake London? Why would you put him on the Eagles? Why would you do this to him?
It's Nate's fault. Nate took my person.
Oh, Nate, why would you do this to Drake London?
Did you want me to take Drake London to Baltimore?
Sure.
Rather
No,
than that?
no.
Just saying.
Can we put Drake London on a team that passes 700 times, please?
I have to add this as well. I was looking at Drake London for the next pick and totally got
Brit!
snagged. So I'm also very pissed that you took Drake London at this
Oh
pick.
my God, Joe, tell me why Drake London's going to be ruined for 4 years in Philadelphia.
But
Oh.
listen, it might be 1 year if Jalen Hurts doesn't figure it out. So you don't know. We might get somebody.
True, fair. That's
We
fair.
might get somebody better. But what's he, 6'4", 220? Like he's basically Mike Williams in the size of who he is, and he's great at contesting catches. And with Jalen Hurts winging that ball wherever he damn well pleases, you might as well get somebody who's good at that. So we need somebody big. We need somebody listen, I have to watch Jalen Reagor. I have to, which people are open to getting him. I don't believe that for a fucking second. JJ Arcega-Whiteside got moved to a tight end. Like, we have nothing. We have Quez Watkins. We have Devonta Smith, who's smaller than my pinky. We need a bigger guy. We need somebody else in the red zone who could do something outside of Jalen Hurts running it right down the middle. So I'm going to take Drake London here, and I'm going to have every single person in the chat mad at me.
I'm not mad at you.
Thank you.
Linda, I'm mad at you.
I mean, I don't hate it. I mean, obviously we need a wide receiver, and at this point, like Drake London's a value at 15. Like it makes sense. It sucks for his fantasy upside.
Value,
but...
he's a steal.
To me, I love it. Like I don't need like the Jameson Williams, going down the field because Jalen Hurts has the worst deep ball I've ever seen in the history of like football.
Joe, you have Jalen Rager, so you don't even have to worry about the speedster
Listen,
down.
Joe, let's prepare you.
Look at Jalen.
Williams will be the pick.
We are
going to trade up to get him.
I almost traded this pick and Jalen Rager just to get rid of Jalen Rager.
Yeah, he was trading down.
Yeah. I would have went to like baseball.
I will give you Rager if you'll move up, please.
I would sell the Eagles team to get
You
rid
need
of
a punt returner, right?
He's so bad.
TCU.
Jalen Rager over Justin Jefferson is an all-time terrible draft.
Don't hurt me like that, man.
I
We
love
do-
that the Vikings laugh.
You know
I
what
love
it's
that
like
they
to
laugh.
watch the draft and you have Howie Roseman who just comes in like an evil fucking genius, quote unquote, because half the time it's stupid. It's terrible.
He drafted.
It's
he got Carson
even
Wentz,
funnier to me too because like throughout the entire process, like everyone and their mother mocked Justin Jefferson to the Eagles. Like it's the perfect pick, and then you're on the clock. You're like, nah.
The best part of the Jalen Rager stuff is the next day in the group chat with all your friends from Philadelphia, and we're like, yeah, did you see him in the slot? Yeah, he did this. He's like, yeah, he tied his shoes correctly. Like, we didn't have anything to say about him.
He had a cool college mascot.
It was bad, man. It's just it's a nightmare. I need more therapy on top of it.
That's okay. All right. All right, Britt, your pick at 16, then I'm going to run through picks 1 through 16 for those just joining, just so everyone has a recap. You are the Saints. Who'd you pick?
Well, so I was salivating that Drake London was still sitting there. And like I said, I got sniped. So then I had to just completely switch around my draft strategy. But I went with Bernard Raymond, offensive tackle. So 2 years ago, this guy was playing tight end. But then he bulked up like 60 pounds to play offensive tackle. And you would think if you bulked up that much that you would lose a lot of your athleticism that you had when you were a position player. That's not the case with this dude. He's a super strong blocker. He's fantastic in the run game. He's got moves out the ass. And he's only been playing offensive tackle for 2 seasons. The Saints lost Teron Armstead in free agency, so they really need to fill that hole. And like I said, I was really tempted to take another wide receiver here, but I thought my next GM would do that for me. And the tackle depth also really drops off a ton after this.
What I was going to ask you about was it the tackle depth versus the wide receiver depth, why you decided to move away?
Yeah, for sure. I had to think about it, and looking at the tackles who were left, I was like, eesh. Like, you can't lose somebody like Armstead and then plug him in with like a 3rd round talent. Like, you've got to put somebody who's going to be a day 1 starter in there. And that's Raymond. And he's, like I said, he's only going to continue to develop. So
as the second Saints GM, I'm very thankful you took an offensive tackle here because I was watching you pick and I was stressing that I was going to have to start scouring the internet for the next best one.
Yeah, who's the best 2nd round guy that I can reach?
So just to piggyback off Britt, he's 6'6", 303 pounds, and he runs a 5.05 40, so just over 5 seconds. He can move. So that dude can move and get out in front to block for Kamara and whomever else that they want to potentially throw screen passes to. Maybe, a quick slant to Michael Thomas and Raymond is running out and blocking for him. I would like him better if his last name was Rain Man. I feel like he just needs to move the last N in between the I and the M and would be good because I like that better. But good pick, Britt. I don't know anything about him. Luke Maction, CMU.
Action. Also, we were officially 24 hours away from the NFL draft, guys.
Officially. Does it start at 8
pick
Eastern?
16.
Yeah, it starts at 8.
Yes, 8. But it probably won't start until like 8:20 at least.
Yeah.
By the time Goodell gets up and announces the pick, it'll be like 8:45.
Yeah.
Great.
Sounds about right.
And I will be hammered. It's really
Yeah, come on.
And Britt will be $3,000 richer.
I hope so. That'll be
At
great.
minimum.
But I can't even celebrate because I'm doing the live stream, and then I'm going to be shameless promotion, by the way, on Alarm After Hours on Sirius XM after the draft. So
Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I cannot get too toasted during the draft.
Yes,
Yeah, you can. Who cares?
no one said you couldn't, so do it.
Who
You know?
cares?
Linda,
Yeah.
Linda
Right,
looks like
it's
she's
called
been there, done
after
that.
hours. I've never known somebody to not be drunk after hours. Like,
Yeah.
let's be honest.
Yeah,
Well,
toasted. All right. Quick recap here of the first 16. I had the first pick with the Jaguars, Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan, defensive end. Nate had the Lions, Kvon Thibodeau, the defensive end from Oregon. Ryan, you had the Texans, Alabama's offensive tackle, Evan Neal. Luke, you had the Jets, safety Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame. Fun fact, Kyle Hamilton and his former college teammate Cole Kmet had the same amount of touchdowns last year. Britt,
Yes, I knew it would
had to
win.
sneak it in.
Fist fight you.
Oh, Linda.
We're gonna
I've
set
never
up
been
an
at this
octagon
fight,
at
but
the
I'm
Dan-
willing to do it over Cole Kmet.
Yeah, we're gonna set up an octagon at the expo.
That's not the hill to die on.
Yeah,
That'd be
you
cool.
don't want to die in the
Imagine
Cole Kmet
people
Hill.
who, like blocked each other, got into like a fucking cage match, and you could bet on it. Oh my god, that'd be insane.
Ryan
Ryan in New York can bet on anything except.
That's true. Anything except the
Exactly.
NFL draft. There's actually already odds up on.
I have to drive 10 minutes across the border. I'm like in Miami University in Ohio is like 10 minutes away from Indiana, so I drive like 10 minutes that way and go place bets and then drive back. It's a good time.
Nice. All right. Britt, you had the Giants at 105. You took Icky, whatever his last name is, Ikwonu. Nailed it. Let's go. From NC State, the offensive tackle. Back-to-back tackles taken. Josh with the Panthers took Charles Cross from Mississippi State. Joe Pepe took the cornerback Sauce Gardner from Cincinnati at 107. Austin and his Falcons took Trayvon Walker, now the odds-on favorite to be the first overall pick in the NFL draft from Georgia. Linda with the Seahawks, you took Jermaine Johnson, the defensive end from Florida State. Joel with the first really fantasy-relevant person for the general populace. Jameson Williams from Alabama goes to the Jets at 10. Malik Willis goes to the Steelers after a trade up with the Commanders from Luke at 11.
Also, I just
Ryan
want
at-
to say real quick, Joe, about my bet with Malik Willis for the people. If the Steelers take Willis at number 20 somehow, I will eat a ghost pepper, and if they trade up and draft him, I will do the Blazing Wings challenge from B-Dubs on a live stream. So root for that, people.
Boom. We'd love to see that happen. Ryan at 12 with the Vikings took Derek Stingley, the DB from LSU. Austin with the Texans took George Karlaftis, said that wrong. Purdue from the Texans, Purdue for the Texans. Nate with the Ravens took the Avenger / Godzilla / Jordan Davis out of Georgia. Joe with the Eagles killed Drake London's fantasy value and took him at 15. And Britt took the Rain Man, Bernard from Central Michigan for the Saints at 16. And now, for the rest of the draft, back to your regular scheduled programming. Good to see Elixirs in the chat. Linda, for the Los Angeles Chargers, the cheaper of the two teams to enter SoFi Stadium, you took an offensive tackle. Who'd you take?
Well, first of all, I was going to make a kicker joke, and you totally ruined it by spoiling what position I took. So
Oh,
now,
sorry.
like, you're just like adding beef to our plate right now.
Do you
But-
want me? Do you
That's
want
right.
me
You
to,
got one more pick in this
We're-
draft, Linda,
we're-
so we're good.
do you want me to
it's
start
fine.
over?
No, I don't. No, I don't. But thank you.
She'd rather never hear your voice.
So I was going to take Jameson Williams if he got there, and he went far earlier than I was anticipating. So I thought I would at least get to like hang out with that dream for a little while longer. But because that did not happen, I went with Trevor Penning for the Chargers. He's from Northern Iowa, an offensive tackle, like Joe said, and ruined my joke. They have two elite tackles on that offensive line already, and Corey Lindsley, the center, and left tackle Rashawn Slater. So getting a right tackle in would be huge for a very big weakness on that Chargers offensive line to protect my sweet prince baby, Justin Herbert.
I love it.
Helps Eckler's productivity as well.
Sure, but more importantly, it's protecting my sweet baby, Justin Herbert.
Well, yeah, especially you look at what the whole AFC West did on the defensive side of the ball. Like, holy shit. If you're not stored up on that offensive line, you're going to get nailed. So I think that's just, it's not the sexiest pick, but I think it is the smartest pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Broncos, the Raiders, the Chiefs really did a number on their defensive depth chart when you really look at it. You know, Mike Dana incredible pass rusher.
Yeah.
Mike Dana,
Really solid.
Frank Clark in his maybe 3 sacks a season when he figures it out and isn't injured. Chris Jones when he's not bitching. Fearsome front 7 that the Chiefs got.
I say the Chiefs are in trouble.
I also fear the Chiefs are in trouble, but
Yeah, I knew.
I
That.
can't say that
I-
because I'm a Broncos fan and people yell at. There's too many
Well,
haters.
Linda, they can yell at me. I have the Chiefs at 10-7 and last in that division. So
I am
Very
a resident
possible.
Chiefs fan, and I'll tell you, I worry about the Chiefs this year.
I
really do.
Thank God.
I mean, I'm not
You
stupid.
said that at the beginning and I forgot. I just let it wander out. That's my bad.
Nate, you can rest on your laurels knowing you got Nick Bolton in the middle holding it down. That's
do
what you
love
can
Nick
rest
Bolton.
your laurels on. Nick Bolton's good. Remember he had that one fumble recovery or something like that last year. That's all I remember from his time. Josh, Eagles, your team, you have a hat on. They need offensive line help. Who'd you take?
Well, I had to split the 2 Eagles picks because I couldn't let PP over there take both of them. Sorry, buddy. But since you went wide receiver early and all the good defensive ends are kind of gone, Roseman likes the trenches, right? Like we locked up Mailata. We still got Lane Johnson. Jason Kelsey's been flirting with retirement, what feels like 10 years now. It feels like nonstop. Tyler Lindenbaum is basically Jason Kelsey light. Like he's the next version. So it kind of makes sense. Like replace the guy that is the same guy with the future guy. Like
Wait, can his brother play tight end? Because I'm drafting him.
I mean, look, it's not the sexiest pick by any means, and there's still a lot of areas that the Eagles could use, but they've got the 2 firsts next year, presumably for ammunition to eventually go up and get the quarterback that they want in the event that Jalen Hurts doesn't progress. This whole draft is going to be about protecting Hurts and giving as much ammunition to give him every opportunity to win. As Kelsey gets older, injuries will become an issue. I know they have like 4 people on that offensive line already that can play center, but why not just put a true center in there who actually knows how to play center versus somebody that can just adequately play center like some of the guys they already have? That's kind of why I went Linderbaum here, especially since we already went wide receiver at 15.
As a DFS player, I'm glad you guys haven't done anything to the defense, so I can just plug in whatever tight end is playing against the Eagles.
Yeah, we did that for you. We did that for everybody.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I think
You got to look out for the masses, Joel. Don't you know this?
I need to
think
make my
that was-
$2 a week on DFS.
I think that was a rule on Ryan's Stream of the Week last year. It might not have been the number 1 guy, but whoever was playing the Eagles, as long as they weren't over 50% owned, Ryan would put them on his Stream of the Week.
Stream of the week.
Yeah.
Tight end. Yeah, that's where it was
Yeah,
at.
almost every time, and I'm pretty sure almost every time it was a win. So
That taxes and scoring against the Eagles linebackers.
Exactly.
The best part was when the Eagles and Cowboys played each other, and then it was just you could do the double tight end differentiation, and then it was great.
all right, the second Saints pick in the last 4 picks, Austin, it's going to you. I imagine you don't like the Saints as a Falcons fan. So, who do you have the Saints picking?
Well, I did not go the sabotage route despite the rivalry there. Shout out to the city of New Orleans. But of course, Britt took the offensive tackle, pick 16, helping me out. So I went with the receiver here. They need to fill out that receiver room. And I went with my favorite receiver in this class, which is Chris Olave. I think he is the best route runner, and he's got the 40 time that he can do the route running underneath and then eventually take it over the top and beat corners down deep. And I think he could fit in well with the skills that the Saints already have. They've got Marquez Callaway, who can be their go route. Michael Thomas, if he is ever going to play again, he can do a slant across the field. If he's not there, then okay, we might have a problem. And then Chris Olave will be the route running matchup problem for opposing defenses. And then of course you have Kamara as the dump off option. So I like Chris Olave plopping him in this offense.
Austin, can you call me, please?
Luke's so patiently waiting with his hand up. Luke Sawhook.
Did Garrett Wilson die?
Okay, so we're going to go here then. because I took notes and I came prepared for this. Chris Olave led the team twice in receiving over Jameson Williams. He led them in receiving touchdowns twice over Williams and Garrett Wilson. I think people are getting a little bit of recency bias with the emergence of Smith and Jigba in the Ohio State offense, who just had a stellar year last year and outperformed both Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave. But Olave was the touchdown threat, and you got to score touchdowns at the end of the day. So I'm going with Olave because he's got the more versatility from my perspective with the route running, and that'll put him as a danger in the red zone. And he also has the ability to get you those chunk plays downfield.
That's a great argument, but I will counter it with Wilson better plus ratio.
Did Garrett Wilson die?
I thought he was going to counter it with, that's a great argument, but you're wrong. And just there.
No, I did, but I
Twitter.
ratioed him instead.
Yeah.
That's fair. All right. Now, for the Commanders' first pick in the first round after the trade, reminder, Luke, as the Pittsburgh GM, traded up. He traded the 20th pick in the first round, a 2022 second rounder, and 2023 second rounder to the Commanders for the 110 and the 4-8. So the Commanders now on the clock. And this will help us answer a question in the chat from my brother. The Commanders, Josh, who'd you take?
Yeah, I could have easily sat at 11 and just drafted Drake London to pair with Terry McLaurin, but man, that Commanders linebacking core last year was so bad. So it makes sense to kind of, trade back and get a little bit better positional value for one of the linebackers here. Obviously, the big question, Kobe Dean, Devin Lloyd, who do you like? I know Dean's a little bit on the smaller side, was the Dick Butkus Award winner last year in college football and arguably the best defense in college football last year. I lean Dean. I like the speed. I think he will fit really well with what Rivera likes to do on defense. And again, I personally, I think some of these linebackers are going to fall. I know that, people think that they're really good, and they are really good. It's just teams just don't tend to value linebackers this way. We've seen Devin White go in the top 5 in recent years. We saw Devin Bush get traded up to be drafted. But at the end of the day, most of these guys tend to fall either to the late part of the first or even in the early second. And people reach for some of these wide receivers, which we're seeing these big contracts. So it makes sense to kind of get some of these guys earlier, so you have that locked in 5th-year option. But I think this could be a spot where one of these linebackers go, and I'll gamble with Dean here.
Okay, so I'm going to pose this question because it was asked. We'll go around the room. Obviously, Josh's answer is Dean, clearly, because he drafted him. Britt, Nakobe Dean, or Devin Lloyd?
I like Lloyd just because of the size difference, but it's really, really close for me. Nakobe Dean plays so much bigger than his actual measurements suggest, and he's so fast and has such good visualization of where the ball is going to go, what route is going to kind of precipitate from that. But I like Lloyd because his all-around skill set and the way that he was utilized. We saw Dean at Georgia kind of be in this big part of how that Georgia defense was run, and he was just a piece of it. If you look at what Lloyd did, he was that Utah defense, so that's why he inches ahead for me, but it's real close.
For those that don't know, Devin Lloyd is 6'3", 237 pounds, according to Player Profiler. Nakobe Dean is 5'11", 229. So they're almost the same weight. Devin Lloyd just has about 5 inches on the guy. So there you go. Luke, who do you like better?
Well, it'll be revealed later in the draft, actually, but I'll say it now. Devin Lloyd. I like Devin Lloyd more. I think he is. I just think he's a better prospect. I don't know that much about both players, but from what I've read on the guys, I think that Lloyd is more revered. So I will follow the consensus like a little sheep boy.
Top 5 IDP guy Nate Markham.
Well, I hate to say weighted question because landing spot's going to dictate a lot for me.
Yeah.
I do agree with Britt though in the fact that he's the most well-rounded. My concern with this is Devin Lloyd. My concern with Nakobe Dean is I don't know how good he is in run stopping. My concern with when you have Godzilla and the rest of that line up front, it takes a little bit of that off your plate. I do.
But look at the
like-
Washington defensive line. Like you plug him behind that, he doesn't need to run stop. He just needs to play sideline to sideline.
Interesting you say that, Josh. Hence why I was going to allude into the fact that with the Washington landing spot, he can use his, like you said, sideline to sideline speed, and actually his missed tackle rate's excellent. So that, again, I hate to hedge and not give an answer, but I do feel like for Washington, I might lean Dean. Overall,
Okay.
I would take Lloyd.
Okay, Joel.
Lloyd will go higher because somebody will talk themselves into him being the next Micah Parsons.
Yep.
Ooh, okay. Joe.
I pretty much agree with Joel. That was perfect. Nothing to add to it.
Okay. Austin.
Not much more to add. I'd go with Lloyd.
Okay. Linda, Lloyd or Nakobe Dean?
Malcolm Rodriguez.
That guy.
Spicy.
Does he even go in the first round in our mock draft?
No, he's like a 5th round pick.
I was gonna
Oh,
say,
great.
he's not even a big two guy.
Okay. Ryan, Dean, or
Okay.
Lloyd?
I agree, unsurprisingly, with every word that came out of Nate's mouth. But for even more selfish reasons, Nakobe Dean could play middle, and that keeps my boy Yamin Davis starting at the weak side, and I have to have that happen. So if they come in here and fuck Jamin Davis up, I'm going to be very, very upset.
I would like I think I like Dean better. I would like the Commanders to not take a linebacker.
Well, that's
So
fair,
that-
too.
So that way Cameron Curl can just have a field day. So
In my mock where I don't do trades, I actually completely agree with Britt, which seems to be the running theme of this draft, where I have Drake London going there, and I actually have Drake London going there as the first wide receiver off the board. I'm a big Drake London guy.
Ooh, salty.
best receiver. Let's go. All right. Me now. Okay. The Patriots at 21.
Look how happy he gets.
I am not happy about this. I said, hey, let me look at the linebackers. Let me look at the cornerbacks. Give me one of them. Don't care who it is. And Andrew Booth just kind of fell to me. If anyone knows anything about Andrew Booth, please give me some reassuring facts of why this.
This is why we do a mock draft show right here.
This is why we only gave him one pick last year.
Yeah, like
You're telling me that you took the guy I was gonna mock to the Bills, and you
Seriously?
can't tell me fuck
Why?
all about him.
Hold on, Linda. let me wait. I will tell you a lot about this guy. Give me 1 sec here. So Andrew Booth from Clemson, right?
Born to James and Martha Booth.
Go Tigers.
Joe just learned he went to Clemson.
I learned that when I looked him up and typed him into the sheet, Austin. Okay, so like a week ago I learned this. He is. I will tell you why I picked him. I liked this. The 6 foot height to me feels good. I like 5'11" corners, but 6 feet is right there. It's trust me, weird.
What are you, a girl looking at Tinder profile?
That's the other way around. Big dog.
They're all lying.
Yeah, that's the other way around.
Faith is going to come back and a height comment on me. I can't wait.
Oh, that was perfect, Linda.
Just go to who had the 22nd pick. Just
No, I am explaining my reasoning.
We've already figured out your reasoning, Joe.
I know my reasoning.
He was like, I could pronounce
He was the
that
guy.
name. That's pronounceable.
My reasoning was I looked at multiple mock drafts, found the top 5 DBs that were being taken, and spun a wheel.
I'll finish up his
You
reasoning.
spun a wheel?
Until 10 minutes ago, he didn't know how good Devin Lloyd was at linebacker. So he just took the best corner instead. So,
And poor Trent McDuffie is sitting here in our mock draft, like in the green room, just going,
yeah.
like pulling the
was
Mac
Garrett-
Jones.
it
Is
was
anyone
Garrett
ever going to
Wilson.
pick me?
Yeah, I was gonna say I like the position because you can't let Mills be your cornerback. Like he can't be your one, but
Yeah, it's a liability.
Dude, Jalen Mills can't be on the NFL field. He needs to be in the fast food line at McDonald's handing you your lunch. Is where Jalen Mills needs to be.
Listen, I had to deal with him, so I'm all there for you.
Okay, so I am looking at the mock draft that I actually went off of to take Andrew Booth, and he's no longer taken in the first round. So I feel terrible about this pick now. But Linda said she said she was gonna mock him to the Bills, so I feel better. Britt, you are now the Cowboys because you traded up 2 spots to jump the Cardinals. You
I
traded.
got antsy.
You got antsy. So you traded the 24th pick in the first round and a 4th round pick to move up to the 22nd pick, and you took another receiver for the Cowboys.
Yeah, man, this is just like I said, I got antsy. I live in University of Arkansas country. Like, that's my town. Worked in a college town. Treylon Burks is my dude. Being a Cowboys fan, like, he has to go to the Cowboys. In my brain, he has to go to Dallas. I'm actually worried about our live stream tomorrow night. If he doesn't go to Dallas, that I'm going to cry. And that is not being, I'm not exaggerating on that. But I think that Jerry Jones always, he has this affinity for Arkansas players. We traded Amari Cooper. We lost Cedric Wilson and Malik Hooker to free agency. And then there's also uncertainty surrounding Michael Gallup's recovery from his ACL. He tore it, like in November, but he just had surgery for it in February. So who knows how his recovery is going to go. My head said to take an offensive lineman, but I couldn't get away from this just insatiable need to take Treylon Burks. I mean, he hunts wild hogs with his bare hands and a knife, for Christ's sake. Like, the dude is a literal beast. He ran the fastest.
Really fun facts.
That's
what is the success rate of hunting with your bare hands to NFL wide receiver?
He's alive, right?
Yeah, and he killed a bunch of them. And I don't know if anybody's ever encountered a feral hog. They're scary as fuck.
They're huge, right?
It's terrifying. It's terrifying. So the fact that he actually, dude is a beast, literally. It's just going to be really fun to watch Kellen Moore scheme for an all-purpose wide receiver. And I don't like that next Deebo Samuel moniker getting thrown around, but he kind of did that at Arkansas. And he did run the fastest at 22.6 miles an hour out of anybody in college and NFL in 2021. So I don't want to hear about this. He's a combine bust. His combine was shit, blah, 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 blah. No, the dude is fast and he puts it all out on the field, and he's going to fit in great at Dallas.
I wish terrible things for Dallas, so I hope not.
I'm with you, Joe. And I know our friend Kira feels the same because she loves Treylon Burks. So
I pre-agree with Linda, and they already have James Washington. Why do they need another wide receiver? So
I agree with that. I think. Oh, and he immediately
run.
gets off
Yeah, then he ran.
You're done.
I do like James Washington as the second guy, even if like Gallup has struggles coming back from the ACL. And I think Dallas should double up on corner because Trayvon Diggs is not the answer.
What?
Did
He
you
is
read
simultaneously the best and worst corner in the league. I don't think.
Austin, this is your
truly an
introduction to
anomaly.
fantasy. Welcome to the
It's
team,
wild.
buddy.
We're gonna have to dedicate a whole episode to this.
Just watch the dude.
Yeah, watch him.
Watch him bite on.
I love that
every
you both
single
can
double
say
move.
the same thing and both be right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
With-
dude.
With
watch him
great
bite on
risk
every
comes
double
great
move.
reward.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Basically,
that reward was really good in the playoffs. If you ask all Cowboys fans,
No,
It
that was
worked
shitty
really
play
well.
calling. Again, we can dedicate an
bad
entire
defense.
episde to this.
That was a great day for
Norris
me.
Jenkins is who
I have a question
That's
about the
the
pick.
comparison.
And I hate love Janoris Jenkins. So
Yeah, because he will huge splash play followed by a 65-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
Allowed.
I have a question about the pick. So I'm curious if you pass on Garrett Wilson because of the scheme fit, or because you like Treylon Burks more.
I like Treylon Burks more. I think that
L plus ratio.
what? I don't even know
Luke's
what
a
that
big
means.
ratio
I'm old.
guy.
What the fuck does that mean?
He's talking in two.
I don't know.
Like,
He's
Yeah,
talking-
exactly. I'm
talking in
a
Twitter.
grandma, so I don't understand these
He's
terms.
speaking in TikTok.
I'm thinking it's weird.
Me
But
either,
it's okay.
but it makes you feel better.
Basically, well, actually, I want to know why do you prefer Burks over Wilson?
I think Burks is
Arkansas.
bigger, more durable. It's not even Arkansas. I think watching his game film and watching him in a piss poor, shitty Chad Morris offense and still doing what he did in that, he's going to translate well to any scheme, as opposed to Garrett Wilson, where you were surrounded by all of this talent. You had all of these recruits. You had this great recruiting class. Traylon Burks did all this shit with a peewee football team behind him. Like, he's going to do great on an NFL team with actual talent. Like, it's just, that's it.
That's fair. I just let me pull up his reception perception again with Matt Harmon. His success rate against man coverage just like really concerns me. For like
again, because he literally was the only person that Arkansas had to throw to. Okay,
that's fair.
If you were the only person, I don't care. You're not going to argue works with me. That's all. I'm just going to cut this off right here. When you're the only person on this team that there is to throw to, especially in the SEC, and you're getting triple teamed, like, of course you're gonna fucking suck in, man. That's just the way that it is. Like, I don't care. Burks is a dude. Finn.
Didn't he also get underthrown like all the time? So he's always having to come back to the ball. It's just gonna hurt your success rate.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
I'm sure Matt Harmon's report is amazing, but what it doesn't say is that he hunts hogs with his bare hands. So
That's true.
Facts.
Successfully.
That's what it does successfully, yes. From the Cowboys
Some things
to the
you just can't account for when it comes to analytics. That's all I'm going to say.
Intangibles.
You're going to break a hog's neck with your hands. You're not dropping a ball.
Exactly. From the Cowboys to the Cardinals, Austin, you went with a kid from BC. Who'd you take?
I took Zion Johnson, the offensive guard. I really love this match for Arizona. Watching their last game against the Los Angeles Rams was just the most painful experience, watching Aaron Donald and Von Miller just tear that offensive line up all game. I felt like we were getting a replay of Patrick Mahomes against Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl, where Kyler Murray just spent the entire game evading the pocket. And Zion Johnson, he's an interesting player. He didn't start playing football until he was a high school junior. He started at tackle, and he's rotated across the line. He's lined up left tackle, right tackle, left guard. He even took snaps at center at the Senior Bowl. So he can move without the line. He brings some versatility. And he's also just got long arms and a strong base. So I think he's got the ability to really be a strong asset in the run game. He rarely gets pushed around, and he's good at re-engaging blockers when he needs to in the pass game as well. So I think all around he's going to be a good pickup for the Cardinals. Hopefully he falls to them and they can protect Kyler Murray, because that man, I mean, bless his heart.
And fun fact, 4 out of the 5 current offensive linemen on the Cardinals are free agents in 2023.
I'm starting to feel like we need like a short YouTube series with Britt just literally called Fun Facts.
I don't think that was a very fun fact.
It was not fun for Kyler Murray.
It was,
a
fact.
sad fact.
Either pick your poison, flip your coin. Fun fact, sad fact.
Yeah.
Flynn's facts. There
it is.
Nice.
Britt, I am
facts.
petty, and I'm not over the Traylon Burks versus Garrett Wilson thing. And I just wanted to point out that Traylon Burks was only double teamed on 1.9% of his routes last year. That's all I'm going to say.
That's fine.
Ratio? Is that
Does-
what how you do it?
I'm just saying, like, there are
From the old
Like,
guy
he's double
that doesn't know how to switch his
1.9%
background.
of his time.
Yeah.
Ratio.
That's all I'm going to say.
That's
I
the
watched-
burn of all burns right
I
there.
just watched all the games.
Super burn.
Nate, after this is done, please quote tweet this live stream and just say ratio. Don't say anything else. Just say ratio.
Hey, figured it out. Look at that.
There it is.
Live
Attaboy.
from the draft.
All right. Now, to the Green Bay Packers. Joel, I have to ask, are you a Packers fan? Okay, this explains your
That's
two
why I gave
picks
them
then.
both the Packers picks.
This explains both picks then. Joel, who are you taking at 24?
Well, Luke will be happy to learn that Garrett Wilson is not dead.
There
He's
you
been
go.
working at Burger King in Ypsilanti, Michigan with Elvis.
He lives.
I don't believe that he really falls this far, but I mean, you can't say no at this point. I think he's the second best receiver in this class after Williams. He's got a little bit of what made Devontae Adams special, in that he can win at the line. He gets really good releases. He does fight himself a little bit. I think you guys were talking about that with Matt a couple weeks ago. He's got some stuff to clean up, but he can get deep. He catches the ball well. And honestly, he fights himself as the first 2 years of Devontae Adams' career, so he'll fit right in.
It's very true.
But I think in real life they're going to go after Pickens, but I don't think Wilson will be there. But you can't pass him up at this point.
Yeah.
Fair.
It'd make our draft look really bad.
I think there's no shot that Wilson falls out of the top 15. Like literally a 0% chance. That's my.
I think the class is too deep. I think you're gonna just see teams go after edge rushers and tackles way before they go for receivers.
We'll see.
Yeah,
I think that's definitely possible.
Receivers feel like you could find a good guy in the middle of the third round and like be extremely happy about it. Like you can find a Keenan Allen in the top of the third round and just be sitting there chill about it. So,
well, George
okay.
Pickens apparently is going to go low second, early third because of character concerns. So I mean,
Yeah, I saw that.
why not wait for a George Pickens or that somebody with that caliber?
As a Patriots fan, we love the character concern guys because they always fall to us. That's great. We love them. Linda, go ahead.
Can I just say, if like your concern is like, oh, he doesn't give 100%. Okay, but he's doing that at less than 100%.
Yeah. Like imagine
fuck.
if we could get 100%.
Imagine if you could build that character up a little bit. Shit.
That's
All
a good
right,
point.
sorry.
Well, Linda, I'm going to bounce it right back to you because you have the Buffalo Bills at pick 25. Who are you taking?
Well, we needed a little chaos, and for the record, I do not want this to happen. But for funsies, we'll go Breece Hall to the Bills at the 25th pick in the draft. That luxury pick that like people are like, oh, they can have a luxury pick. No, they can't. There are certainly holes on both sides of the offense and the defense, I think. So I'm not saying that they need to do this, but from a fantasy's perspective, I think it would throw a wrench in a lot of people's. Some people really want to see Breece Hall end up on the Bills. Some people do not want to see it at all. I happen to fall in that camp, but I figure when is a good time to face your fear than live in front of people.
So, Linda, I will start with you because I think Luke really wants Breece Hall to go to the Bills. And because I think I'm in the same boat as you are. Why don't you want Breece Hall to go to the Bills?
A lot of people talk about the Bills like, oh, it's a high-powered offense, but it's a high-powered offense because Josh Allen can throw the ball 45 yards on a rope, and because he's going to take running, he's rushing the ball. They're designing for Josh Allen to rush the ball. I like Devin Singletary late in drafts because that's the kind of running back drafter I am. So I really don't want to see him get squashed out. So, because I think Breece Hall would squash Devin Singletary, at least to enough of an extent that it would concern me if I was a manager of Devin Singletary. So I just think he kind of, it's not the landing spot people think it is because it's a high-powered offense, in my opinion.
Luke, you were excited. Go ahead.
Yeah, I personally think it's a great offense. I think it'll give him a lot of red zone touches. And I think that while Josh Allen is a really good red zone, rushing touchdown guy, and I do think he'll definitely get some, I don't think the Bills want that for Josh Allen long term for his health. And I think drafting Breece Hall could be good for Josh Allen's longevity. And I think that hurts Breece Hall less than people think. And I do think that this is a good fit for him because I think he'll see a sizable workload. And that's what really is important to me for my fantasy running backs. And I love Breece Hall. Austin, go ahead.
Then you should want him to go to fucking Houston, bro.
That's cool. I love Houston too. I'm just happy with the Bills.
All right.
Here's my take. Breece Hall to the Buffalo Bills is like Clyde Edwards-Helaire to the Kansas City Chiefs. It's the same.
Don't even dare make that comparison.
I mean, can we?
No. Because Breece Hall is by far the best running back in this class. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was like the 4th or 5th in his class, talent-wise.
But everybody made the same argument. Clyde Edwards-Helaire going to Kansas City Chiefs, a high-powered offense. All they need is a good running back, and he'll come and be the 3-down back. They don't need a 3-down back. They had Darrell Williams, just like the Bills. They got Devin Singletary and Zach Moss. They got Josh Allen. They've got 3 running backs right there. They need someone more like Kenneth Walker that'll be a committee member.
Yeah, Josh, we can't hear you, in case you didn't.
Yeah, letting him know in the chat. Yeah, okay, perfect, fantastic. He knows. Pepe, what side are you on here with with Breece Hall? Like, do you want, if the Bills take him, are you happy or sad?
For fantasy, I'm not as happy as I think everybody else is because like he still has Josh Allen, and Josh Allen's going to get touchdowns there. Like they're not going to just stop running the ball in with Josh Allen. So for fantasy purposes, I don't love that. And I have a few rebuilding teams where I want Breece Hall. So like I'm really hoping that doesn't happen. But I agree with Austin, that whole like CEH argument, just because it's the real high powered offense. And then like Linda said, there are holes on both sides. There's other ways they can go that would make them a way better team because Devin Singletary played well, like especially towards the end. He played very well. So I don't think you need to waste that first round capital on a running back.
Breece Hall is so much better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire was as a prospect, though. That's like Jonathan Taylor.
But that's not. I'm not. Okay, but wait. Because you're comparing players. I'm not comparing players. I'm comparing the fact that Kansas City was a very good team that wanted to add a piece to win another Super Bowl, right? So they added CEH. Now the Bills are a very good team, and people are saying like they have the chance to take this luxury pick and just take a player that they think is going to make their off, like, you know, taking a running back in the first round, which is a whole nother conversation. But
that's the whole conversation.
That it's the scenario in which they are being talked about as taking a running back because they don't need to fix anything else. So they can just take a guy like Breece Hall as early as they want. And I don't feel like the Bills are in that kind of situation. That's why they're similar.
They have things to fix on the defensive side.
It's not that the two running backs are similar. It's that the situations are similar, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The other thing I think that's overblown is the Bills don't want Josh Allen to run, all based off of a Sean McDermott quote that he literally says at the end of the quote, if Josh is going to take it, he's going to take it. Like that's the thing is you have to go back and look at how much of Josh Allen's runs are even design runs. It doesn't matter if Breece Hall's on the field. If Josh Allen's like, fuck you, I'm taking this ball and running into the end zone. So,
no, for sure. I'm not saying that that's not going to happen, but I'm just saying like, long term, I don't think that they want him to run as much as he does. So I don't think it's as big as a concern as it is right now, is all I'm trying to say. Like, let's say like Josh Allen gets, I don't know, like 10 rushing touchdowns a year. I don't think that's what it is, but let's say he does. I'd say it'd come down to like, I don't know, like 5, 6, somewhere in like something like that. That's not as bad. That's all I'm trying to say.
So I'm gonna quickly go around the room because I do believe boilerplate general consensus in a non-superflex rookie draft, Breece Hall is probably the first guy off the field unless you feel really good about your running backs and you want to take a receiver. I think most people are taking Hall 101. I'll start with Josh again and go around the room. If Breece Hall lands at the Bills and you are the 101, are you taking Breece Hall or are you taking your next favorite player?
No, I'm taking Breece Hall.
Okay, Britt.
I'm taking my next favorite player because we've seen historically that quarterbacks who like to run the ball tend to negatively affect, at least in fantasy, their running backs. And like Ryan said, when the Josh Allen just decides to take off and run, that's not going to benefit Breece Hall. Plus, you look at Singletary. I mean, they signed all these other like scrub backs in the back. Like, just who knows? They're operating on a committee, and I would rather take a sure thing.
Luke.
I got Breece Hall for sure, especially in a one quarterback league. I guess you can make an argument for. I mean, I think Malik Willis and Breece Hall are both totally fine. Are you like picks for the 101 and Superflex? But one QB, it's Breece Hall 100% in Buffalo.
Okay, Nate and Treylon.
We collectively like to go on record as saying that I don't have a strong number 2 in this class, unfortunately, which makes me revert back to Breece Hall. I'd love to see where, you know, Walker lands. Not that I think he's a full 3-down back, but, you know, he might.
Wait,
I'm gonna
so
say
you
Hall
don't
for all intents
you don't think he's player profiler's comparison to Ladainian Tomlinson? You don't think that?
I can't say that I see that.
Okay,
with
good.
The lack of, you know, I mean, I don't think the pass catching is quite on par. But was LT that way coming out of college? As you know, was his grading, you know, that high as a pass catcher? I don't remember. That was a collective. He was
Absolutely.
He's also nowhere near Ladainian Tomlinson.
Well, no shit.
That's the argument. Joel, would you take Breece Hall if he at the 101 if he lands in Buffalo?
I agree with Nate completely. Hall is so much better than the second best player in this class that it doesn't matter where he lands.
Okay, Joe.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with the last two. It's just he's so much better, but I'm not going to be happy about it if he goes to Buffalo.
Right.
Austin.
I'm trading away my 101.
Hey, that's the answer.
Okay.
That's the answer, yeah.
All right, Linda.
You couldn't go to like me first. I was gonna say just trade away. You guys could have been like, that was the answer.
Ruined it.
But for
Okay.
sure, like you're either taking, like in my opinion, I'm either taking Brees and then trying to move him on somebody's, like hopefully I have somebody in a league that is super high on him at the Bills, or I'm just trading the 101 straight up.
Ryan.
It's Brees Hall. We saw Devin Singletary be very successful. Brees Hall's taking that job, and Singletary's gone at the end of this year anyway. So in Dynasty, if I'm in a win now mode, it's Brees Hall. I want to throw one quick thing out. We may be falsely remembering Ladainian Tomlinson coming out of college. It's very similar to Kenneth Walker. Ladainian Tomlinson caught 43 balls in 4 years in college. He wasn't used that way either. Kenneth Walker, they know he can catch the ball. He's just not being used that way. Don't sleep on Kenneth Walker in the right landing spot.
Yeah, Ryan, I'm glad you pointed that out with Singletary. He's heading into his 4th year. Like, they're going to have turnover at this position. So even taking Brees Hall at the 101 this year, maybe you don't get a massive payoff. Wow, Nate, you really did that. That's fantastic.
For a guy who couldn't,
Pretty solid. Thank you
for a
very
guy
much.
who couldn't change his background,
Thank you.
he's now adding adjectives and verbs that he has no clue
Oh,
what they mean.
that's fantastic.
We've seen him grow before our very
Does anyone
eyes.
here genuinely not know what ratio means?
I do know what it means. I like to play dumb. I like to play
Joel,
old
do you not
man.
know?
I just think it's
I don't.
stupid.
I know it's something people
It's
say.
hilarious. So basically, Joe, the way it works is like, let's say, I don't know, let's say Linda tweets something stupid.
This is
and
my
I'm like,
worst
and then I
nightmare.
comment ratio. And then
Why
my goal
in
is to
the
get more
world are we
likes
talking
or the
about
same amount of
this?
likes on my comment than that she gets on her original post. So like, let's say like Linda posts that Brees Hall going to Buffalo is a bad landing spot, and I comment ratio, and she gets 5 likes, and I get 10 likes, and that's a successful ratio because I've outliked her
Luke.
original post in a comment.
And
You
now
have Tampa Bay fans that are like, oh my God, just
Yeah, that's just an example, Linda.
Luke, how many times have I ratioed you, big dog?
Several, dude.
oh man.
Several.
Yo, Linda's come to fight tonight. I love it.
No, dude, Linda's like my mom on Twitter. It's great. She keeps me in check. It's fun.
I get that from a lot of people. You're welcome. All right, what's next? We talked about Brees Hall for too long.
Yes.
Uh,
Way to go, Linda. Bring the chaos.
Jeez.
Oh yeah.
I don't even think we were talking about Brees Hall by the end of that.
No,
I'm pretty
we
sure
weren't.
we weren't.
I forgot
Alright,
the Titans were even next. I forgot that was even a thing.
We got about 17 minutes here.
I'll be
Ryan,
quick.
we'll go to you at the Titans. You're picking Ryan Tannehill's replacement.
For the love of everything that's holy, Ryan Tannehill will not last forever. And the Titans have spent years, the last 2 to 3 years, building an offense around a mediocre quarterback. So why not take the next great mediocre quarterback to learn from the king of mediocrity? So we're going to bring in Kenny Pickett. I don't buy the Kenny Pickett hype, but he is a perfect replacement for Ryan Tannehill in the Tennessee offense.
Yeah,
And
It's so funny that you made this pick, and I started seeing people on Twitter start saying that the Titans could be in on a quarterback in this draft, and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
And
Ryan,
Tannehill's
man.
massive contract ends after
Yeah.
2023. So
Luke, to you and the Bucks of what should have been my pick for the Patriots, but you took him.
All right, guys. Again, I picked a player that died. Devin Lloyd, consensus top 20 pick. Sitting here number 27. Loving it. Thank you so much. I'll eat it up all day long. Delicious. Thank you. Best player available pick for the Buccaneers. Don't even really need him, but might as well. He's great.
They do need him because Levante David is 32. and
There you go.
nearing the
Well,
end
they
of
do
his
need
rope.
him. There you go. I knew it all along.
I mean, for right now, maybe not, because when Brady retires, they're just going to go into straight rebuild mode. So maybe for this year, potentially win now to add as a third linebacker if David gets hurt. But, I mean, Devin White's the ultimate middle linebacker in the NFL. But, yeah, good pick. All right, Joel, back to you and the Packers, and you're taking a guy who wore green and yellow in college.
Your homeboy. That I think this is the slam dunk pick of the draft because Christian Watson is the perfect Packer receiver. He's big. He's a freak athlete. He's fast. They need a defensive stretcher. LaFleur can do his Shanahan copycat and give him the ball like they do with Deebo Samuel. He's the perfect pick for the Packers. He's exactly what they want.
didn't Gutekunst take in his first draft like 2 corners with 2 first-round picks?
Yeah, I
or
read that
2
today,
too.
backs or something. So like this really isn't out of character for.
No, not at all. He took Jair Alexander, and then he
Yeah.
took Josh Jackson, who didn't work out.
Linda. I'll go Linda and then Britt.
I just want to say that at some point in this offseason, the Packers had more kickers on their roster than they did offensive tackles.
Yes.
There's your
What a
fun fact for the
What a
night.
stat.
Wait,
What a
I got one
fact.
more to throw in before we go to Britt. All of those kickers scored the same amount of touchdowns as
It's Cole Kmet. Yes.
Eat shit, bro.
Wow.
I'm not playing anymore. I'm never coming
What a
back.
stat. What a stat. Britt, to you.
So the last time that the Packers drafted a wide receiver in round 1, does
Javon
anybody?
Walker.
Javon.
2002. Yep.
2002. Hey,
20 years ago.
The good old
20.
days.
So
20
what you're
years.
saying is they're due.
I mean, you would think,
A
You would
better,
and I hope
better
that
would
they
say
do,
they're due.
but I hope, and I just don't know if they're going to, because
What
again,
was
let's-
That's all
let's
right. The
not just
Eagles
go
haven't
draft-
drafted a linebacker in round 1 since like the 70s, and you still found a way to mock a linebacker to them.
Yeah, because poor Gio, who's going to
Uh-huh,
say no
yeah.
to Gio? Like nobody's
Yeah.
coming out and doing that for Green Bay.
Wow, 20 years.
Yeah,
love that
20
kid,
years.
That's a whole Luke.
Yep,
That is a whole.
it is. It is.
Wow.
I'm
It was like
21
3
now.
years ago, too.
I'm a big boy.
Luke, the only one here born in the 2000s. That's
2001 represent.
No, I don't like that.
98.
We're not playing this
98.
game. Nope. On to the
No.
next one.
Hey, Nate, for your next background, can you put the year you were born and who was president?
You know what I'll do? I'm gonna do this. You won't know who the president is. Come on. Here, I'll do this.
Gerald Ford. Gerald Ford. That's my guess.
You're right. I wouldn't know.
I'm gonna do something better. So you guys go ahead and keep talking about.
All right, fantastic. So Christian Watson to the Packers. Nate. Oh, it's Nate. You.
Oh, of course.
All right, I can talk and research at the same time. It's totally easy.
All right. So you have 2 Chiefs picks back to back. You have Trent McDuffie, the corner from Washington, and Jahan Dotson, the receiver from Penn State. So you're going defense and offense for the Chiefs.
Exactly. Much needed. We lost Travarius Ward. McDuffie is in every mock I've seen. Not even close to being an option at this point, but I can understand. I mean, something's got to get pushed back if something's going to get pushed up.
Yeah.
And he's a better zone coverage corner than he is man coverage, but KC runs kind of 50-50. So I think he can fit right in. He backpedals nice. He tackles well, all the things that I really want from a person who's going to be asked to step right into that secondary. And we need help because this secondary, like we said a million times, the NFC West is nasty. So while I did all that talking, son of a bitch, sorry. The next pick is Jahan Dotson. Dotson, I didn't necessarily want to. I didn't know if I wanted to give them a wide receiver necessarily at that pick. I know that
He plays the same position as Juju.
It is the same position as Juju. But I like Dotson. You know, I watched some of his tape, and the one thing
Is that Jim Brown?
That is not. That is Tom Cousineau, the number 1 pick of the 1979 NFL draft. I don't know. Okay, I just did ratio. It wouldn't let me save his tape.
His head's cut off. His head's cut off.
Guys, I just ratioed somebody 3 times while we were doing the show. Are you
I
proud
just
of me?
like that he's looking over Nate. Just
He is. He's looking down at me because he's my elder, and that's how you respect your elders.
There you go.
I
You look
love
down.
that.
John Dotson in tapes that I watched, the one thing that I really, really loved is that he came back to the ball on numerous broken plays. And the one area that Tyreek Hill and Mahomes really, really gelled at is his understanding. And it takes time that Mahomes constantly wanted to break the pocket and break out. He had to recognize that with that offensive line starting to learn and the deep cover too, et cetera. It just seems like Dotson's a good fluid receiver, good route runner. Not the best yak, but you know, we'll get by. Tom Cousineau, by the way, everybody.
Love it.
1979.
What a guy, Tom Cousineau. All right, 10 minutes left here. Ryan, Houston Texans. This is not a shock to anybody that has listened to you over the last month or so.
No.
You
My
traded
guy-
up.
My guy Joe facilitating the trade. The Bengals, which I do believe the Bengals will be a team to trade out of the first round at the back end here. Someone's going to get desperate to come up and get that 5th-year option, and I think it's the Bengals who move out. So
I just did it because I couldn't think of who to pick.
Exactly. Joe said I was doing him a favor, but he didn't realize he was doing me the
Joe
greatest
wanted to
favor.
draft himself because he would be a better corner than Eli Apple. We
I
just
would.
need to share that right now.
I would though.
So, without question, after watching not nearly as much film as other people who watched the draft, but of watching the film, Desmond Ritter came out to me as the guy who I think has the most upside of every quarterback in this draft. And he is, for real football purposes, my QB1. I think he is the best quarterback in this draft. Luke, cry about it.
I'm sorry. Did you say he has the most upside?
Yeah, 100%.
Dude, no, he has an average arm. Malik Willis has a fucking cannon and can run
So-
like the wind.
Jamarcus
Tell me
Russell
how
had
he
a
has
cannon.
more upside.
Right.
Yeah, Jamarcus
If-
Russell.
Russell
Yeah.
could
That is
go
not-
90 yards.
Tavon Austin was also really fast.
Desmond Ritter is a proven winner, 4 years in college. He has a equal completion percentage. Everyone wants to knock his erratic throws. He has an equal completion percentage to Kenny Pickett, however, with fewer turnovers and a rushing upside far better than that of Pickett. I think for fantasy purposes, if he lands on a team, and I actually like Davis Mills. I just wanted to get this guy in the first round. And I honestly, if he ended up on the Texans, I would be happy with it. I don't know if they would put him in over Mills right away. But for college football, he is a kid who needs to grow, and I think he's going to do so in the NFL. I think he is the most pro-ready guy because he played in a very proficient pro-style offense. And again, he won. None of these other quarterbacks you can say, other than Kenny Pickett a little bit last year, were good for 4 years and won football games. Ritter is that. So give me Ritter every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
I like Ritter. I just don't like him more than Willis and Pickett.
Yeah.
Well, to
I'll
be
say
fair,
I don't
Ritter went
want.
after Wilson and Pickett. So what's the beef?
Because he said it's not about
That
where
is
he
my
goes in the
QB1.
draft. It's about what Ryan said about him.
Yeah. Go
Wait,
ahead. Austin.
also, Britt, I just am curious. Did you disagree with my point about Malik Willis like being big and strong and it being bad?
I'm just saying that's not the most important thing in an NFL.
Okay,
quarterback.
Miss Treylon
Decision.
Burks.
Okay,
Big
look,
well,
if
it's
you
the
want to
important
get
thing in a wide-
personal,
important in a
listen,
receiver.
if you want to get personal and not talk facts, like we can do that. But the fact is that look at Ryan Leaf. He was the most explosive quarterback and the biggest goddamn quarterback bust in the entire history of the draft.
Yeah.
So just because you have a good arm, Jamarcus Russell, again, the same. Just because you have a good arm and can throw the ball to wherever doesn't mean that you can connect with your receiver or you can make the right decisions or you can deal with pressure in the pocket and whatever. So,
No, of
I mean,
course.
whatever. And it's an opinion. So eat
I
it.
No, I'm just giving you a hard time. I'm really not trying to be rude in case you're actually getting offended. No, but
I want
also
Austin to be able to say his piece.
I also
Well-
just wanted to say that sorry. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. I can't hear you. I don't
Flynn's
have
facts.
I was just saying that I think the Malik still has the highest upside, even though he could bust. That's all I have to say. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
My bad.
I was going to say something completely different, but now I have to jump in on this. If we have a situation where Trey Lance may be sitting out to start a second season, Trey Lance is a bigger projection than Malik Willis is. And so to me, that's why I like Desmond Ritter more. And what I was going to say is I don't want the Falcons to take a quarterback in round one, but if they took Desmond Ritter, I would buy that jersey.
All I need.
So, two things. Ryan, if you didn't take him, I would have taken Ritter at 32 for the Lions.
Okay.
We should have another segment along with Flynn's facts called Flynn's Fuck Yous.
I just want to do a show with Britt and Nate where Britt talks and Nate quickly
And Nate puts
finds
up graphics.
pictures and puts shit up in the background.
Nate's the graphics guy. Nate's the
Who knew?
graphics
Who
guy.
knew? Look at that. That's quick turnaround. That's what is that? About an hour and 53 minutes that I've learned graphic design.
I was say,
Yeah, you're
Graphic
crushing it.
designers. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Guys.
you
You're
are
killing
definitely the number one.
It
IDC
kind of
guy
looks
after
like
this.
farts because of where your head's at.
That's a good one too. That's
But
fun.
Which would be very appropriate for a 43-year-old man. I should point that out.
Exactly.
Love that.
Very true.
Okay. Before we get to Britt's husband's question, who is using her YouTube page.
Well, I also don't think that he articulated it well. So
Yeah, no, he did not. It's Jameson Williams.
Yeah.
Well, no. I have 2 literal paragraphs, so just skip his question.
He texted
It's
her.
because I was like, that doesn't make sense. What
He
are
was
you
like,
talking about?
look, you better get this question on the air.
Well, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Why are you talking about people from last year's draft aside from instead
See,
of this
I
year's
thought
draft. And
what he was trying to get at was who was the better like Alabama prospect.
I think what he was talking about is who the media hyped up or the scouts hyped up as the number one wide receiver and who ended up actually being the better wide receiver out of the class. He just didn't really articulate it that well. So we can totally skip that question. That's fine.
Fantastic. Okay. Somebody want to tell me about Troy Anderson? Anybody want to tell me about Troy Anderson? I was looking at the top linebackers. I was looking at Detroit's roster. I'm like, linebacker looks good for them.
I like the both of your picture. Just like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, this is a pretty awful pick.
Yeah, listen. All I knew was Montana State made the finals against NDSU. That's all I know.
Didn't you do this last year?
That is not. You might as well have taken Matt Reza at that pick, just to
Would that have been a good pick?
A little.
No,
he's a punter.
No. Okay. Good.
George Pickens would have been a good pick.
Oh well, listen.
George Pickens would have been a good pick.
I did not want to do that to George Pickens. I wanted to do this to someone I didn't care about because they're going to Detroit. So, guys,
it'll be. They're going to get a new quarterback next year.
They got the Hard Knocks bump. Britt, they have Detroit in their name. Did you not see what happened in the Tigers game last night?
Well,
how pitiful that was?
The Hard Knocks bump just moves them up in ADP, thus making them a bust in fantasy football.
Absolutely. No. That was a joke. I'm not saying for real that the Hard Knocks bump is a thing. But they also do have Frank Ragnow coming back, so at least there's one bright ray of light.
I'm a sucker.
I'll be honest. In all of my first round research, Troy Anderson never came up. I don't know who he is.
I pulled him up and it was like former running back, quarterback, and I was like, okay.
Guys, it just feels like a Detroit pick. It just feels like it fits Detroit.
With that explanation,
kneecaps,
confident to select yourself.
Yeah. Oh my God, he eats kneecaps.
Yeah.
I just fit. I was like,
do
small
not
D1
come
school.
on this show hating on fucking Dan Campbell. All right,
no.
Wait, Linda, I can explain to you. In my head, I was like, I feel like this is a Dan Campbell guy. Small school, wants to hype him up, bring him in.
You're like kind of mocking Dan Campbell, and that's my
100%
fucking
not.
Dude. I love this man.
He hates Jared Goff. So
I hate Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff's
fine. He's not gonna be their quarterback next year.
Yeah, that's why I would have picked Desmond Ritter.
Year. Buck up and take Pickens there for 1 year, bro.
No,
1 year?
No, I didn't know.
You're that impatient?
Linda, listen to me.
Has
Detroit ever drafted well? Have they ever drafted well? No, so they wouldn't take Pickens there.
Okay, but you're drafting for them. That was
yes,
the
and
project.
I am drafting as someone
you don't draft well.
Who knows the city of Detroit.
He's like a method actor where he takes on the persona of the
all right,
draft.
Jared Leto.
I think we're okay to say he doesn't draft well. He didn't know who his last two picks were.
Yeah, you're drafting.
The precedent has been set.
I open every rookie show that we do saying, I don't know shit. I am here for comedy. And the fact I drafted a guy from Clemson, a defensive back that I don't care about, in Montana State.
I think that's the Homer talking.
I didn't know Montana State was a school until they played North Dakota State in the championship. And the only reason I knew that they played NDSU is because I live in the state of North Dakota. That's the only reason I know Montana State is even relevant. That's it. I don't know rookies. This is why we have you guys on. You guys are smarter than the person hosting. So I just make these dumb picks, and you guys make fun of them. I know Aiden Hutchinson. I've seen Aiden Hutchinson play. That's
easy. Why I give you the number one pick, Joe.
Yes.
So you can make at least one solid pick every year.
Top 5 pick, and then
that's what we did last year.
Next year I might have you do 3 of the top 5 just to get your picks out of the way. So
Great,
you somewhat sound smart.
Just the first 3.
What do they say? Even a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while.
There you
His
go.
will be the only right picks. Like come the end of the weekend, his will be the only fucking picks that were correct.
Joe's ego needs that.
I am terrible. I'm terrible NFL mock drafting. I have done pretty solid in rookie drafts for Dynasty, so I can rest my laurels on that. But
There you
that's
go.
about it.
Hey,
that's about it.
Small wins, man. I'm
It's
just
How
saying,
accurate-
maybe next time, like a sticky note with like one stat.
That's right.
do you want to know a stat about Troy Anderson? I can look it up for you.
You're like, I can tell you how fucking tall he is, though. All right.
If you look up the name Troy Anderson on Sports Reference College Football, the only person that pops up is Troy Anderson from 1967, and I don't think that's the guy I want.
That's not good.
No,
So
he
that's
had
not good.
67 stops. There you go. I just looked it up.
He's a converted running back and quarterback.
Yeah.
There you go.
Converted running back, quarterback, 67
Farts.
stops. Montana State.
Eats kneecaps.
What a draft! Oh, well,
Bathed in the blood of his enemies.
well, everyone.
That sounds like a Dan Campbell guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's a Dan Campbell pick. Watch it happen.
The 10
Watch
of
it
us,
happen.
the 10 of us and the people watching are going to be so fucking excited when Troy Anderson gets drafted.
Dude,
Like, I know him.
I might put a bet on it if that's even possible. I might put Troy Anderson to the Lions. The odds on it have to be insurmountable.
Yeah.
And
You're
I'm
like
doing
on
it.
day 3.
If
I
anyone-
really don't think you can find a sports book that
If
went
anyone
that
ever
far.
gives you
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like,
1,000
he's probably not even available.
No.
Guys, let a kid dream, okay? All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I hope everyone had as much fun as I'm sure I did, because I don't know what the fuck I was doing, and I had a lot of fun. And you guys know what you're doing, so that's good. This is a lot to go around and tell and like have everyone wrap up. So I'm gonna quickly go through what I have in the show doc. So we do this quick. For Joe Pepe at JPep20, fantasy data and triple play fantasy. Britt Flynn at Britt_Flynn, fantasy alarm, fighting chance fantasy, lightning round fantasy. Catch her tomorrow after the draft. A little tipsy on Sirius XM, just a little tipsy, maybe
I
crying.
can't be.
Lots
No,
of shit.
I'll
Still
cry
in
on.
full silver?
Look, if
Well, hey.
Howard Bender can have a few, so can you.
Wait,
all right?
well, wait a second. Let me tell you guys and everybody here on this live stream too. We're doing like our first lightning round thing as our first show being powered by Fantasy Alarm as our sponsor. So it'll be me, Kevin Tompkins, Andrew Cooper, Gary Haddow's going to make an appearance since he's been missing for a long little while. We're going to have some Fantasy Alarm people in there. If you haven't seen the tweet, like and subscribe to our Twitter account and our YouTube account. And we're giving away a signed Justin Jefferson jersey.
JJ.
So yeah, so just do that. It's free entry, like really easy to do. We'll be giving that away during the draft. And during the draft is when I'll probably cry. By the time I get on the radio, I'll be fine.
Boom. Perfect. For Linda at Lindellians, who you can find on MB Fantasy Life, which is Matthew Berry, and hyping up kickers anywhere. So
Anywhere and everywhere.
if there's any kicker talk and it's not Linda who started the conversation, just click into it. I guarantee you the first comment is Linda.
You guys
Or
don't
it's-
like search shit you want to talk about on Twitter and find
I
conversations.
say, or
you
it's
can
me
just, like, insert
dragging
yourself
Linda into the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. If Linda hasn't found the kicker conversation, it's someone who knows Linda that's found it and has tagged Linda in
Yes.
the kicker conversation. Yes.
That's true.
And I would like to join Linda's leagues of only kickers and punters. And I would
I
like to
gotta work on
propose
that.
I would like to propose we add long snappers to it as well. I don't know how you grade them or give them fantasy points, but I think we should add them.
I agree. An all special team fantasy football league is going to be hard to pull off, but we're working on it.
Ah, love it. Nate
We do
Markham,
offensive line as well.
love it. Pancake blocks are 10 points. All the way to the top. Missed block, -5. Nate Markham from Fantasy and Frames and a top 5, definitely not 5, 4, 3, or 2 IDP ranker on Fantasy Pros, and the best graphic designer in fantasy football.
Yes.
Yes,
These kids going
obviously.
places.
Yeah, kids going places from Fantasy and Frames. Austin Amendolia, Club Fantasy. Oh, what a guy. At Austin_FFL. Joel Worth at the Joel Worth at Club Fantasy as well. And Luke Sawhook, social media for Dynasty Nerds, ranker with Fantasy Pros, Nacho Extraordinaire, soon to be on the Food Network. At Luke Sawhook.
Stop! You are God, encouraging him.
I say Joe's allowed to be nice to everyone.
Linda,
but
eat the nachos and you'll change your mind.
That's true.
It is a scrumptious late night snack.
It might look bad, but it could taste delicious.
Scrumptious.
Bro, Jake
Microwave
was here,
nachos
Dynasty
are
Jake on
elite.
Twitter.
His
Dude,
are
Dynasty
just
Jake and
bad.
Spence from Twitter were
And
here
also I
last
got-
Friday, and they came down and they tried. Well, Spence couldn't because he can't eat cheese apparently, but Jake tried them and he said they were good. We have our first glowing endorsement.
Dude,
from
you're
real life
not like
Fantasy Twitter.
Not
$50
eating
You're not
is
even
all
ginger.
lactose comment
You
in here.
Yeah, I was
you
gonna say
put
not being
cheese
able to
on
eat
chips
cheeses
and put it in a microwave. We've all done it. We've been drinking for several years. You're
I'm on
not
his
like
side. They are not good.
And they're delicious.
they're fine. Delicious is strong.
They're a great late night snack and they're easy to make. There
They're
you go.
fine when I'm high
Okay.
and I need to put something in my mouth. All right,
Listen,
here we go.
I've
I'll take that,
last
you know.
last one. I want to go. I want to go around and ask this because we've had a lot of fun. I want to end on a fun question because we are fantasy football. I've seen Luke do. Luke's asked like the 101 of these certain things. I want to go everybody quickly. I don't want an explanation. I just want what it is. The 101 of fast food. It needs to have a drive-through. It is required to have a drive-through. That is fast food. Josh, 101 of fast food needs to have a drive-through.
Taco Bell, not close.
Okay, Britt.
Yeah, dude. Taco Bell.
Okay, Luke.
Okay, no explanation. So McDonald's.
Okay, going with the classics. Nate.
Chick-fil-A.
Okay, Joel.
Raising Cane's.
Love it. Joe.
Wendy's.
Austin.
Checkers.
Checkers. Okay, that's definitely a North Carolina thing right there. Linda.
Whataburger.
Ryan.
In Ohio, we call checkers rallies. Give me rallies.
Whataburger. 100%. It's not even a question. Whataburger.
Yeah,
okay.
we don't have those in Florida.
Yeah.
And that's the funny part about this whole roundabout. You can tell the regions based on the answers.
Well, that's why I was like, how obscure can this be? Because I'm like Slim Chickens, but I don't know like how many people have Slim Chickens. You know?
Slim Chickens is just a worse version of Cane's with peace and love.
No. Slim Chickens originated in Fayetteville. Do not put that. No.
The one opened up by my house right next to the Cane's and it closed down because it's mid.
Maybe
I'm
it's
actually
because
gonna-
people have subpar taste in Ohio.
Maybe. You know, actually, if we should have gone by regional answers, I should have said Skyline Chili because that is one of my favorites. Low
Sorry.
I actually had
That's
that for the
disgusting.
first time
Sorry.
like 4
Look what
years ago,
happened.
and I don't like
Disgusted.
chili. I like
That's
Yeah.
why we don't play
If
these.
you're not from Cincinnati, it's like a true 50-50 if you like it or if you hate it. But
when
if
you
you
guys
guys
are
you grew up here,
When you
love
guys are in Canton, look for Swenson's. It is one of the best little regional drive-thrus.
I
you'll
didn't
ever
eat
find.
Swenson's
in
is good.
Canton. I just drank alcohol the whole time
I,
for like
I think
4 days.
I know why Linda likes Whataburger. It's open 24 hours, and she can go there at 2 a.m. piss drunk and get a delicious patty melt. Is what she can do.
Honey butter chicken.
Honey butter chicken,
biscuit.
Yeah, the biscuits are elite.
or the honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich.
Yeah, I
Money.
get like
Nate.
that's the problem is I want
I don't have it.
all the things as I go through it. 4 a.m. with my Uber driver.
That was not me. That was my husband.
Yeah.
Okay, so he watches the show on my YouTube account, so it always shows up as my name, but that's not me. That's my husband.
Sure.
It's so
I
funny
was
that he
agreeing
rides
with
the
you.
coattails of your YouTube channel. Just get your own.
With their What's burgers. Nate, go ahead. Finish us off on the fast food conversation.
Unfortunately, I almost want to change my bet because Chick-fil-A is closed on Sundays.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying.
And
Like I
Also,
love
because
Chick-fil-A,
Popeyes
but
is
like
better.
if you're only open 6 days a week, you're not doing anything for me.
Nate,
And they
Nate-
close at like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
And their
like,
line
good
is
Lord.
always out the ass. We
That's what I say.
actually
When you
had to,
mentioned
like,
drive-through, I'm not trying to fight that drive-through line.
no,
Nate,
we had
yeah,
to.
no.
The city in Fayetteville by the university had to close down the Chick-fil-A to make them add a second lane to their drive-through because it was impeding traffic on the one main thoroughfare by the university. Now everybody just takes it as a license to be like, oh, there's 2 lanes. We can still like get in there, and it's still impeding traffic.
wouldn't that
It's
mean that it's the
terrible.
101 if it has so much business and it's so popular that they have
Or-
to shut down traffic?
Or maybe
Nope,
people just
nope.
have poor taste.
So
That's
so
That many people have poor taste?
I'm just,
true.
I'm
it's
just
delicious.
I'm quoting my hero.
It is
There's
delicious.
enough Cowboys
I
fans.
believe it.
There's enough people with bad taste.
I'd say I'm quoting my hero, Brett
Facts.
Flynn.
So two things here to wrap up. Nate, I will allow you to change your answer because you had incredible graphics tonight if you do choose so.
I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to stick with them.
Going to stick with Chick-fil-A. Great.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Hold on, we have to
I know none of us
screenshot
are in
this
California.
forever.
I passed out the most Taco Bell drive-thrus in my lifetime. Than any other.
Britt, your husband's coming with you to Expo. I'm buying him around. Like,
Oh,
wow,
yeah,
like
absolutely.
four, but-
Chris,
Yeah,
like,
I-
that was actually me this time.
So
That's
No,
what I was gonna say.
honestly,
I want that
no.
as Britt's Twitter banner.
No, I'm the one driving him through the Taco Bell drive-throughs. I can only imagine how it was before we started dating. So
I love that.
I 100% believe him.
The last thing I want to end on, and I know none of us are West Coast people, I want to give a little 1-2 clap for no one saying In-N-Out Burger. I just
Dude,
want
I
to
love
give a
it
little.
out though.
Yeah. Okay.
Animal style. We don't have it in Arkansas, so I can't.
Chick-fil-A!
Nate.
Dude, if you put Thousand Island on
Nate's
my
on
burger,
fire
we're getting
today.
into it.
Thank you.
He
Brought to
also
you
looks
by
like he
Chick-fil-A.
could be the CEO of Chick-fil-A, so I feel like it just.
I don't know if that's a fat joke or no
Yeah,
joke,
dude.
but I'll take
You're
it.
like-
It is what it is.
Like he's
It's
on-
a billionaire joke, bro.
Yeah,
You look
What's
clean,
that show
polished,
where you
clean
pretend
shaven.
to
You just
be-
exactly.
you feel like you. I
Undercover
feel like
boss.
Yeah. I don't know who said that, but
Exactly.
yeah.
I feel like if Chick-fil-A didn't have the cow, it'd be Nate Markham as like the face of Chick-fil-A.
Right. And if I was a racist bigot that hates besides those two little tidbits,
Right.
yeah.
Perfect.
You looking to
perfect
hire
way
Just
end
those.
the show.
And then
Oh.
you would be him.
What a way to end the show. Oh, all right. Here we go. Here's a big wrap up. 4.
Oh my god.
Joshua Hudson at the One Hudsonian, Britt Flynn at Britt_Flynn, Luke at Luke Sawhook, Nate at Nate Markham, Joel at the Joel Worth, Joe Pepe at JPep20, Austin Amendolia at Austin_FFL, Linda at Lindelians, Ryan at the Fantasy 5, and myself at Joe_Zolo. You can follow Club Fantasy on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Club Fantasy FFL. The URL is clubfantasyffl.com. Recent articles on the website that you can go and read. New writer Steve Lawson gives us 3 running backs that are primed for a bounce back, and Joel's latest Blurred Lines looks at some of the best props heading into the NFL draft. Speaking of the NFL draft, we will be live tomorrow starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. It'll be myself, Josh, Ryan, and a slew of other guests that will be joining us throughout the night. We will break down every first-round pick. We will probably compare it to our mock draft that we did, knowing well sure that Troy Anderson will go 32 to the Lions. We don't have to break that one down at all. Absolutely. It's not even a question.
The only
So-
It's a mortal lock.
It's a mortal lock, dude. Put the life savings on it if you can. We'll break all that down. IDP guys, a bunch of people from IDP guys will be joining us. It is very exciting. Josh, did I miss anything about tomorrow before I fully wrap it up?
No, I think that'll do it. I mean, Austin and Joel that are on this stream with us will also be making an appearance on the live stream as well. So
Let's go.
looking forward to it.
Join us for all the fun, all the mayhem, all the chaos. I'm not sick this year, so I'm looking forward to it. Always remember, defense wins championships. Offense wins fantasy football. We will see you